All right, everybody. A little early tonight. They tricked us. So let's dive right into it. How about that? They are giving out keys to the city?
Yep. Gave out a key to the kid who did the tourniquet with his shirt at the car accident. This is someone else. I didn't catch who.
Well, they
were giving out 3 keys tonight.
They were hoping that we wouldn't catch them, but we did, sort of. And we signed on almost 4 minutes early. So,
and the items that were held were 8BB, 11E, 17C, and those were held by Candy, and then 9.1A and 9.4A were held by.
Some of the winners who couldn't be here, we had Joe Carpenter. We also had Matthew.
What do we think about those? What are any implications there? Or?
Joe Carpenter.
I'm not entirely sure.
So we're going to go with the approval of the minutes. Roll call.
Councilor Bergman?
Yes.
Councilor Calorio?
Yes.
Councilor Gia?
8BB is the Joe DiMaggio Little League.
Yes.
So I'm not entirely sure why that one was held, because it was literally just asking the city solicitor for something.
Those kids are canceled.
Yes.
That's what
okay.
It's very confused.
Public participation.
And then
for no more than 2 minutes on any item appering on the agenda.
The agenda and the comments.
If you have items on the agenda, you still get 2 minutes combined if you have more than one item.
9.1A.
What's your name and the item numbers?
Is license commission appointment
on the agenda,
and 9.4A is another thing related to the license commission. So something must be going on there.
One is 8X
that I don't have any knowledge of, because I don't understand why those would get held.
That were taken down.
Does anybody see who I see in the crowd there?
Flag and the rainbow flag.
Papa Drone.
I understand we want to support the Ukraine.
Our gray-shirted fella.
But I don't think it's necessary to take down one flag or 2 flags to put up one flag. Now we have 3 flags on the south side of the plaza and 2 flagpoles.
And before you go to bed, you have to lock up the city.
North end of the
and that means no restaurants after 10 p.m.
in front of City Hall. I would think after all the controversy, with
11E
we would have learned a lesson.
Was the other one that was held,
and
right?
we would be very conscious.
11E is Holmes Field getting named after Gordon Hargrove.
Matter and rainbow people with their flags.
License commission is 17C.
And rainbow people
that had already been held once before
have been harassed, beaten, and killed.
Is it okay that she's calling people rainbow people? How do we feel about this?
Simply because of who they are.
I know that she doesn't have
the hate that's rising.
Like a negative slant on this, but
it's very simple. It's another pole, flagpole in front of the city hall in the plaza. Then we will have them balanced. 3 flagpoles.
All right. I just want to make sure.
And 3 flagpoles
as
on the north side.
Somebody
of the
that
plaza.
saw somebody on the Burncoat
still
Facebook group today use the term colored. I just got
and the rainbow flags
a little jumpy.
In front of City Hall.
Bad.
I don't think they ever should.
Yeah, I can imagine that would go bad. Rainbow people is like.
I get 3 minutes. Actually, I get 6. I have.
Honestly, I'm okay with it because she's old.
Thank you.
More than I'm just okay with it.
You don't get 6 a week combined. Just for the rule.
I'm giving you respect.
I gave you the rule.
And myself and these people deserve respect. Is why I'm here. You should have raised a flagpole to support the Ukraine and not disrespect Black lives or the rainbow people. And I hope and I pray that you will purchase a flagpole and raise it and put back the Black Lives flag and the rainbow flag
she's great.
in front
Anti-racist
of City
grandma.
Hall is a very simple solution. It's supporting all people because all lives matter. And these people are
Okay, can you wrap up your
citizens of the
comments now,
United
please?
States and
Please wrap
deserve
up
the
your comments.
respect
You can,
and deserve the support. Thank you.
thank you.
Oh, do I hear Wolfpaw?
Here we go.
I think so.
Is your item number?
Yes.
Name and
Oh
Ray
boy.
Stratman. I reside at 55 Clover Street in the south of the town. From what I just heard, I would be opposed to that in that it doesn't include all groups. There's many flags that can be flown, not just two. Why shouldn't that be expanded to include all the diverse groups represented here in the city? Thank you.
thank you.
Because we can't have infinite flagpoles.
Thanks, Stratman.
Hello, hi.
Is your name and city residence?
Yep,
Item
City
number?
Council. My name is Nellie Medina, City Council, Acting City Manager, Mayor Petty. So I want to just comment on that quickly and just say that the Quinsigamond Community College in the military office has a flag that says, "Don't tread on me." That flag is historically racist and has ties, deep ties to slavery. So we're talking about flying all the flags. That flag is up. We should have the Black Lives Matters and the Gay Pride flag up. It's only fair.
Wait, where's the
So,
Gadsden
I
flag
came here to
flying?
comment today
The
on
police station? Did she
11L
say?
She said
and
Quinsigamond
say
Community
that my
College and something about the military,
and
which
how slumlords and
doesn't
out-of-towners
actually
are affecting residents
Right.
and what we can do
Yeah,
as a city to
they're
hold them
ROTC.
accountable before things
Yeah.
like this happens. And so my question is, if a bathtub comes to an upstairs apartment in an inner city and it's not in the news, did it fall through the ceiling? My point is, this is not an isolated incident. We all know that in immigrant communities like the one I live in and organized throughout, people are getting displaced due to high rents, increased by property owners who are buying property for profit, who deliberately raise rent, knowing very well their buildings are falling apart. For example, Friend Management and property owners of 267 Mill Street own several properties in Worcester. And I think generally folks should demand that the city council not let this situation and others like the one on Gate Street go without strengthening your policies. And we need more supports for renters, as we need you to support the renters as well as you do the slumlords. I work in an immigrant community and these buildings are falling apart. We have rat infested places where babies play. And because of their status and because of their vulnerability, they're exploited. Another thing is that we shouldn't wait till a catastrophe happens before we move as a city and to help these residents. We have to do more. And I'm hoping that the city
Yenni
council will
pulling double
take this as a
duty.
warning.
Commenting
just
on the
because
Facebook
of,
too.
you know, what could have happened. And I also want to add that
Well, that
these
was before
people
we
are people
signed
who
on
are going
here.
about their
Okay.
everyday lives, living the best they could, trying to survive. And it's really sad that more wasn't done for them. And then I want to thank you, Atal Hajahi, for being the best city councilor that we've had in that district for almost decades, and for all you do. Thank you.
Thank you. Is your name, city residence, and item number?
Colin Novick, City of Worcester, 135 Olean Street. City Manager's Communications, item 9.4B. Recommend adoption of order for a conservation restriction on Packagug Spring. A conservation restriction is required as part of a conservation partnership grant as part of EOEEA reimbursement. The site is a half-acre site on Ellie Way.
Yeah, it is.
On College Hill, which is also Packagug Hill, is to preserve a historic spring site at the center of the Packagug Village on what is now College Hill. It's one of 3 Nipmuc villages that make up present-day Worcester. This project is a partnership between the Quinsigamond Band of Nipmuc and the Greater Worcester Land Trust. We have the East Quabbin Land Trust, who's holding the conservation restriction until the Quinsigamond Band of Nipmuc's IRS 501c3 paperwork is completed. In addition to this being a historic village site for the indigenous people of Worcester, it is also significant in the creation of
my
modern
mom's
Worcester and
sighting.
Daniel Gookin. It is also a significant site in the King Philip's War. The project fulfills Worcester Open Space and Recreation Plan
Don't
goals,
you ever
including the main
question
goal, protection of historic resources.
Something we say on the show ever
Goal
again.
1 enhance
Ban
natural
you.
and cultural resources. Goal 1C, historical and archaeological resource protection. Goal 12, funding for new programs and facilities that promote diversity, equity, and
That's fun.
inclusion, as
This
well
is
as
fun.
objective 3E6, continue to make parks inclusive and welcoming to environmental justice populations. It's an unusual project in that usually the city of Worcester holds the development rights. In this particular case, the Quinsigamond Band of Nipmuc will hold the development rights, as well as affirmative rights. This firmly places them in the driver's seat in terms of how the site is developed, interpreted, and used. Nevertheless, this is a conservation restriction and has to go through City Council. We are asking your support for approving the conservation restriction. We will also be doing the same work in Auburn as the site straddles the
Good
line
luck over
between the
there.
city of Worcester and the town of Auburn. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Okay, anybody else?
I know nothing about Auburn's politics, but just from knowing the people who live there,
My name is Grandma,
it's going to be difficult.
and I'm speaking on 8A.
Interesting.
I just have some questions, actually. Number one, why did it take 30 years to get the Nipmuc flag out there? And number two, we've been here for like 22,000 years. It shouldn't have taken that long. And thank you for speaking about the LGBTQIA, because that's a two-spirit. I'm a two-spirit. I'm female two-spirit. You all don't know the history of that because it's not taught. But this stuff needs to be taught, and you're wrong. You're wrong for not doing all this, and you know you are. Especially you. You've been here a while. What have you done for the indigenous since you've been? Since you've been here, what have you done?
Keep going.
No, I'm asking you a question.
They don't respond. Keep going.
Exactly. It's never no respond. You shouldn't be in Senate.
That's
I'm
how
going
it
to make sure
works.
I
Well,
speak
fine.
Okay,
because
you're
you've
done.
not done
You're all
anything
done. Okay, you're
for
all
the
done.
Native
Thank you.
Americans, and I'm going to keep
Done.
speaking.
Okay. Go ahead, sir.
Foot pursuit.
Is your name and city of residence and item number?
My name is Handel Robert, and I live on 1 Hatfield Street in Worcester, Massachusetts.
Don't dox
I'm not
yourself,
sure if I'm even at the right meeting, but I'm here to address 9.6 and 9.8, which is the Department of Public Works. I'm a resident of Worcester as of 2016, and I work down in the Canal District, and I'm here speaking for myself, but I can speak for a lot of people that work down in the Canal District. And the parking situation down there has become very strenuous on a lot of people that work within the community. I do admire what the city has been able to do with bringing commerce into the city and bringing business and bringing revenue downtown. But it's been very strenuous on the people that work downtown.
It wasn't a
as,
Photoshop.
you know,
It was
parking meters
2016.
can only park for 2 hours at a time. So, you know, if
From
you're
an event that
in
was
your
not
place of
his.
business working with the customer,
Freaking shady
you're gonna
business.
stop working with the customer to go fill the parking meter. You know, there's no permits, there's no monthly passes, there's no daily passes for the people that work down there. So the people who have been incurring the amount of tickets in the city have been people that actually work in the city. And that's a problem. So I think it's something that should be addressed, that should be looked into very deeply, because you have employers that are down there that can't keep employees because they're paying to work. So, I mean, I don't really have much to say, but that's.
No, I get you. There's going to be, I believe, a neighborhood meeting coming up in September on this.
Yep.
If you want to leave your name with the clerk, you
Yep.
can call and we can let you in on the situation. We can make sure you're invited to that meeting.
Thank you.
Okay.
Yes,
Anybody else?
September, in time for the
Please, sir.
ballpark to not be in
You two
use.
people.
as
Yeah,
much.
get out of
Okay,
here, Papa
Bruce, go
Drone.
ahead, and then, is your name, city of residence, and item number?
My name is Bruce Delaire. I live at 36 Clover Street here in Worcester. I'm speaking on item 14C. I request that you vote yes to accept the planning board's 4-0 vote against the zoning amendment for the property located at.
It's like
they
a
started
that
at
trash
36
bag.
Street
Yeah, that's what I
and
really wanna
15
know.
Clover Street.
The meeting
I
started
submitted
at
a
6
petition
technically, but it didn't really get
planning
going
board
until
and
like
a written protest to
6:10
the
that they
city
called it
clerk
into order, and then they
containing
did key to the city.
118 signatures of neighborhood residents.
So
Of those 118 signatures, 49 of those were from landowners and occupants
My
within
mom
300
is
feet
listening
of
to
the
music
property,
right now, apparently.
which represents 64% of the total owners that abut and within 300 feet of this property. 23 signatures were from individuals who live in the adjacent area within 300 feet, but are
Ryan,
not
you want me to call
property
animal
owners.
control on Yenni?
Yeah, she's
46
got,
of the
what,
individuals who signed
13
the
dogs
petition
now?
At least
live within
13
500 feet of these properties.
She's actually been stealing them from other
They
people's
just
neighborhoods.
keep
Residents we spoke
barking
with,
and
only 2
telling
people
on
did
me.
not sign the
I don't
petition.
know what to do.
One, because he claimed he
There's
never
these
signs
dogs that
anything
are
and
in the
slammed the door
neighborhood.
in
And,
our
they're
face.
cute. I gotta bring them home.
The second person who did not sign the petition was in favor of the zoning amendment, but only for his own personal gain.
I actually helped an
He was
escaped dog
hoping that
earlier
if
today.
the property was built,
Nice.
that he would be able to get the lumber
Escaping deer.
contract because he works for a lumber company. Other than that, there was only one person who really voted against the amendment and 118 or 117 people for.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Worcester.
Yeah, it's not very fun.
Council members, my name is Bruce Hoffner, and these are 3 bags of trash. That's what I have to pick up every
Hey,
day.
come on. Those are city
Talking about
councilors.
8 Y,
8Y, okay.
and this is 3 bags of trash. Every time I go to mow my lawn, I have to pick up 3 bags of trash on one lot in the city. I'm from Milford, New Hampshire. My family has property in Worcester. Also, here's bags of hypodermic needles, drugs,
Those are water
candles,
bottles.
and steel pipes that I pick up from the property. So here's the thing. We all know
The fucking TED Talk?
we're looking for a time to have a pick up the trash in the city on Lincoln Street. So here's the thing. Lincoln Plaza, 4 days a week, they pay $350 per hour, 4 days a week, 4 hours minimum. That's $5,600 to clean the papers and trash in that parking lot. Now, this has been going on for years that I know of. The other problem is that, so if we pick up the trash, what's going to happen? Couple days later, we're going to have the same thing. I mean, this is between lawn mowings. Okay, this is ridiculous.
Wait, is this the guy
We
from New
need
Hampshire?
to have a permanent solution that doesn't fall on the
Papa
taxpayers.
Drone.
I say, let's put trash cans up there. Let's enforce the law.
Yes, I would love to have trash cans
trash
all over the city, but the city
to the
refuses
end.
to do it because
Now,
we
in New
don't have the
Hampshire,
manpower to,
You throw
to
trash
empty
out,
them.
they'll give you a ticket. You'll pay the ticket. If you're walking, you throw trash, you're going to get a ticket. You speed 2 miles an hour, you're going to get
That's
a
not
ticket.
speeding. That's way under
I
the speed limit. 2
understand.
miles an hour.
There's no such thing in New Hampshire as defund the police. It doesn't happen. They don't even talk
does
about
that have
it.
to do
They're
with
actually
this?
increasing the budget. So as much as we
Oh.
would like to brush this under the table,
I'm going to go throw
this
trash on this
city
guy's
needs
property.
to get real about the trash. We need to get serious. This is ridiculous. When I have to pick up 3 bags of trash to mow my lawn, where's the end? Where is the end? I know that we're
should-
overburdened. The police department is shorthanded.
He's not
There's
wrong on
all
this.
kinds of suicide attempts. There's
On the
problems
the
with
point
homeless
behind what
drug
he's saying.
people. We need to get serious.
We should take his
about
property
this.
off his hands,
We
I
need
think.
to put up trash cans, enforce the
Fire
law,
him into the sun.
use that revenue to buy trash cans and to service them.
We have his name because I kind of want to do
Thank
the
you.
dive that we did on
Thank
the
you.
Friends on him now.
What is his name? It's somewhere.
Okay, see
He,
nobody else,
I'll go
we'll
back in the
close this
recording and
part
get
of the
it.
meeting. Go ahead,
Yeah.
sir.
I'm sick and tired of hearing. My name is Keith
This,
Scott.
right in the microphone. Yeah.
And I wasn't going to say anything, but I'm sick and tired of hearing the same stuff that's repeated for 5, 10, 15, 25 years. Now, this little thing that you're talking about, finding the people and stuff like that, it used to be a $5 fine if a drop of litter was on the ground outside of City Hall. You know, if there was some other, there's a lot of things that I keep hearing over and over and over again. And I'm tired
No
of living in
police
the past.
officer wants to be on
because all
litter
the stuff
duty.
that you're bringing up now is stuff that was
It
always
is-
on the books here in the city.
It is a nearly
Different
impossible
fines
thing
for
to catch
cleaning up the
people with.
backyard. I mean, the common
Yeah.
loitering.
Yeah.
You know, people loitering, people sleeping and all over the place. And I hate to go down to the bathroom downstairs. You know, as a regular citizen using the bathroom downstairs because it's disgusting. Couple of times, I guess I'm not supposed to be around, but a couple of times I was downstairs, and I guess people are shooting after 6 o'clock when nobody's around. They're going in the bathrooms downstairs, and they're, you know, dropping their needles. You know, they're shooting up or whatever. There's a couple of couples downstairs that a woman come running out of the bathroom because she couldn't believe that a man can walk into a ladies' room while they're going to the bathroom. You know, I mean, this is all stuff that's happening. You know, during the daytime, I get knocked out, but during the nighttime, they have all these people down here doing all the stuff in the back of City Hall. I mean, they complain about it. I was going to complain about it, but I was told to keep my voice down. And, you know, because those interests are things that are really, you know, need to be addressed. You know, I met Shorty,
That would solve a lot of
the
the trash
crew man
problems.
who's usually
Yeah.
cleaning up after. He said, I'm not staying overtime. I said, I don't
The
want you to
needles
stay overtime. I just want you to let your boss.
in the
know
bathroom of City
this is
Hall,
happening, because
that's
they got all the other guys, and they're just walking right over those. You got the guys that clean up or wrap the tables up and stuff like that, you know. They're liable to have everybody up here, you know, because they don't know no difference, you know.
Thank
But
you.
I just wanted to address that and make it aware that there's a lot of things going on here, and even though the city looks like it's growing, those problems are still the same problems that they should have just kept on the books, you know, and kept on using those same rules of littering.
Thank you.
New Hampshire guy's
You know,
livid that he agrees with this
they're
dude.
Okay, so we're going to go on to the agenda. What's that? No, he already spoke.
wait.
Are they not taking any
skipping
calls?
Virtual?
Oh, that's Alan. I'm sorry.
My name's Alan Delaire. I live at 40 Clover Street, and I'm speaking on agenda item 14.
The Delairs.
Good evening. Please accept the planning board's unanimous vote not to extend the BL1 zoning on 266 Webster Street and 15 Clover Street.
He's back.
I'm the owner and resident of 40 Clover Street, which I purchased in 1986. Previously to that, I lived at 36 Clover Street, which was purchased by my parents in 1961. I am a lifelong resident of this beautiful neighborhood. Our neighborhood is pretty unique. Located on the Auburn line, we are bordered by
I wish we had supervised
Hope and
stations.
Notre Dame cemeteries and Hadwin Park. It's kind of a city within a city. Over the years, numerous individuals visiting my house have made the comment, I can't believe this is Worcester. There have been many changes to the neighborhood over the years. The woods that I spent a lot of time in during my childhood across from 36 Clover Street is now 33, 37, and 41 Clover Street. A small farm around the corner on Royal Road is now 11 and 15 Royal Road. A wooded parcel on the corner of Knox and Webster Street is now 246 Webster Street. The common denominator of all these properties are they are single-family residences. I understand the city has an obligation to assist in providing housing for those that wish to reside in the city. The existing property at 266 Webster Street has been renovated and is up for sale. Even if the petition is denied, there is enough square footage on those two parcels to build numerous single-family houses. I believe these two properties were split zoned intentionally by the city. The BL1 was put in place to protect businesses that were there to serve the neighborhood. These parcels were never designed to be zoned 100% BL1 in order to protect the nature of the single-family neighborhood. Any buildings constructed on these parcels should be consistent with all other properties in the neighborhood. Thank you.
Thank you.
I don't know much about this particular
something on,
case. I didn't look into it much.
Thank you. If you
I
guys
didn't
would
get a
open
chance
the
to watch
Zoom
the planning
virtual
board
platform
meeting,
for
but
participation. If you're on the Zoom
we need to
platform,
fix
please
our
raise your hand
zoning.
or press *9 if you're on the phone.
Yeah, like, but here, like, the thing is, like,
first
a guy
resident
like that
identifies as
is
Amanda
all
Schmidt,
for
so
the
it's
free
on
market
the
deciding
now.
everything until the free market comes for him and
Yep.
his, you know, in his neighborhood, and it's like,
Can you please state your full name, city of residence?
you know,
Granted,
have
the
a lot
fact
of-
that the planning board unanimously said no to it, that tells me that there's other issues at play, not just the zoning, but
and I'm talking
But,
about
yeah, I mean,
11B.
listen,
So it was
if you want
issues
to
or
live in a
concerns
single family
regarding the
neighborhood
chicken
and
raising.
you get pissed off when somebody
I
tries
just
to
wanted
put
to
in
say that
single, you know, multifamily housing,
an ordinance
I'm already suspect of you.
would
But also,
definitely
just
help
fucking
put
move.
any of
There's other
those
places that
concerns at
you could move
ease.
to.
And I wanted to just let you know that I have talked to Donna Pickett with the Health Division in Somerville, and she said that the main complaint people had with chickens out there was just that they weren't licensed. And she said that it usually turns out that they are, and everything is good. And she says that the office has not had a complaint regarding chicken coops in well over a year.
I love that no matter
So I
what
just
he's
wanted
going
to bring
discuss,
that
we can always
to
find
the
a way to
board
make a
and
hard
let them
pivot
know.
to chickens.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Whatever the conversation is, there's somebody who's going to bring up chickens.
Mayor, the next speaker can identify as Serenity.
well, it's on the
Trying to
agenda
meet the resident now.
tonight.
It's always on the agenda. It's been on the agenda for 25 years.
Is this Serenity?
No, to get approved.
Yeah,
Hold
for
on.
25 years.
Yeah.
We've literally been having
Serenity
this conversation
Jones, and I'm at 18 Esther
for
Street, right in
25 years.
Worcester.
We got a Serenity Jones sighting.
You write in number?
So I'm calling in on 11L. First of all, I want to thank the city for taking care of these families that have been affected from the Mill Street apartments. I don't understand why we are not holding the friend manager accountable or more accountable. You know, a lot of these people, they were only given the option of their deposit and a half a month's rent. With the cost of living right now and inflation where it is, we're essentially paying double for everything that we did a year ago. So I could totally understand that they're coming from a place where maybe they don't have a savings to pick up and move. The rising costs of rents in Worcester are out of control, and these people need some help. And I would really like to see that the city council members hold this company accountable. They own multiple properties, not only in Worcester, but throughout Massachusetts. And it's just the way that they are treating these people who have now lost their homes through no fault of their own is disgusting. And I really would love to see, other than ETEL, people stand up for these residents. I also want to thank you for recognizing Jay Nunes, the young gentleman that helped out with the car accident. That was really nice to see this evening. Yes, please, we got to continue helping Mill Street.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. I think we have a PM in the
I gotta
audience.
say this. One time I saw Serenity Jones say the N-word multiple
What's your name,
times on
so you
stage
ready
at
to
open
number?
mic.
I am
So
Pam Barnes. I live at 32
she'll need
Marina
to get that out
Drive
there.
in Worcester, so I'm a block over.
She has
from the Clover
a
Street
lot
situation.
of
And I would
really,
like to echo
really
the
good
sentiments of
intentions
theirs
that
and the other people who have
occasionally on the
spoken.
comedy
I've been
side
there
of
for
things, she
18
does
years,
things
and
that
it's a beautiful little
might
neighborhood.
She
not
also
And
she
I
also
hope
told
that
another
it
comic
remains the same.
that
The traffic
they
is
had a
already
disagreement about
nutty,
posters
and I've
that
seen
were
it get
being made
crazier
that
as we go
she
along. The other thing is, I'm
somebody who was a
new to
victim
this,
of
but I understand
DV that
all
she
of
could
you
see why
here,
that she was being
as
hit.
part of what you do,
So
listen to the
I
notes and read the notes
agree
from the
that
zoning
she's often you know
So I hope you've
doing
actually
you know
gone
involved
through
with
this, and
great
I hope
causes.
you've
I just
actually
have a
listened
real
to all the
problem with
people that were
what she
there.
does when people aren't
Because
looking,
this is a
or
very
she thinks
small
people aren't looking.
representation of the people that were there. There were a lot of passionate people there.
It's weird.
That were very pleased with the zoning board's decision. So
That was a
I
good
hope
call,
you'll
right?
accept it. Thank you.
Thank you.
She didn't say any
Thank you. I
ethnic
think that
slurs,
concludes
so
the Zoom
I'm
virtual
happy.
platform as well.
Okay. Thank you, everyone. So what we're going to do now is go back to the agenda. And once we get through the petitions,
I
maybe
hate
we have-
how
we
he
have-
says
yeah,
agenda.
for specific items, we'll go to the Webster Street
Agenda.
petition. It's a planning one, so people don't have to stick around all night tonight. So then I think we have the auditor's report. Okay. So public participation hearings and orders, 7A to 7F. The
Mr.
motion.
Mayor, I have questions on 7F.
7F, go ahead. Council Corio.
Thank you. I don't know if is National Grid on the line?
There's usually somebody on the line.
Okay, thank you.
This is a conduit
Mr.
on
Mayor, I'm trying to
Vernon
recognize
and
National Grid.
Richland
If
Street.
you're a member of National Grid, can you please raise your hand? Okay, I think I do have somebody.
Okay, thank you.
Oh, that's great.
I love how these have to go through the city council like main meetings for hearings when this literally could just be discussions off to the side and approved by somebody in the city department.
From National Grid.
Yeah. Mr. Garcia. So we have a question on 7E, which is the condo.
No, 7F.
7F, I'm sorry, 7F, condo location in
This is the
Vernon.
first time I've
Street
ever
in
noticed that they
Richland
have their
Street.
own little individual
Corio.
desks.
Thank
They
you.
should,
To
they should
the
put them on
National Grid
casters, so
representative.
like as there's disagreements in the room,
Where,
they can wheel them around and
exactly
like
will this
pick little
work be
teams
done?
and
Because
whatnot.
I know in the middle of the street, about halfway
They can play
down,
bumper cars.
across from the school,
Nah, Red Rover.
there is a handicap parking space
The
that was
Red Rover would be
allocated
great.
to a woman that just got out of 5 months of being in the hospital, who's receiving 24-hour care pretty much. So I just want to make sure that there's not going to be any kind of interruption to that handicap parking space on the street.
So the new condo that we're proposing will be off manhole 734, which is on the intersection of Vernon and Richland. And that's on.
Is it in front of the handicap parking space? That's what I need to know.
Well, everything's on the ground, so the manhole means the manhole is currently already at the intersection, and it's going directly to a switch gear on the property of 50 Richland Street.
So there won't be any, I just want to make sure there's no disruption to that handicap parking
This is
with any kind of,
Donna's
any
like
kind of
entire
lockdown.
political
That's fine.
strategy in a nutshell.
Can you take care of that, Mr. Garcia?
Find somebody that needs something and
Yes, I mean,
do just a
what's
little
the
bit
address for that?
We'll
to
have the clerk
guarantee
get in touch
their
with you.
vote.
Okay.
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 Okay, that's great. Yeah, because
Yes.
She's basically asking for construction to not impact disabled person's parking space. And while that's a cool thing, like construction impact parking spaces, it happens.
Mr. Garcia.
Yeah, what about every
tomorrow
single
with
person in the
the
city
address.
that is disabled that's being
Okay,
affected
so we
by
have the
different
hearings and orders on
construction?
7A,
Where are you then,
B,
Donna?
C, D, E, and
And
F.
there
also
are
on
so
7A,
many of those.
Which was, I believe, taken care of, Mr. Clerk, last week.
Yes, Mr. Mayor.
Okay. So the motion is to open the hearing, seeing nobody else opposed.
No.
Anybody else? Motion is to close the hearing and to adopt on a roll call. Roll call.
Councilor Bergman?
Yes.
Councilor Calorio?
Yes.
Councilor Agia?
Yes.
Councilor King?
Yes.
Councilor Member Carlson?
Yes.
Councilor Nguyen?
Yes.
Councilor Rivera?
Yes.
Councilor
still
Rose?
in,
Yes.
Councilor Russell?
Yes.
Councilor Toomey?
Yes.
And Mayor Petty.
Yes. Now going to petitions. We have a petition you haven't heard yet. Let me know, but it's going to 8A through, we've held 8BB. So we're going to go through 8A through
Conduit is power line.
8AA. I'm going to refer that to the proper committees. Roll call.
Councilor Bergman?
Go ahead, before doing so.
Mr. Chairman, on 8A, I think that should go to the administration.
Okay, so we'll send that to administration. Roll call.
Councilor Bergman?
Yes.
Councilor Calorio?
Yes.
Councilor Agia?
Yes.
Councilor King?
Yes.
Councilor Member Carlson? Councilor Nguyen?
Yes.
Councilor Rivera?
I was in Lynn
Yes.
City Hall
Councilor
today,
Rose? Yes. Councilor Russell?
and
Yes.
they don't have
Yes.
central air in that building.
Yes. So if there's no objection, maybe we can
And it got me thinking
move around. We got
about
some people
tonight,
here
and I was
waiting
like,
for-
man,
we're
can
gonna
you
do a
imagine?
couple items.
George Russell would be
On,
dead
The planning board
after
items.
public
So
comment.
14A, B, and C. 14A and B, we're going to refer to the Economic Development Committee. 14C, which are the people spoke about tonight on Webster School, are going to accept the report of the planning board. So we can take a roll call on those collectively. Roll call. Is that okay?
Which ones are they doing?
Councilor
Roll.
Bergman,
Yes.
Councilor
14
Caloria,
something?
Yes.
Councilor G.A.,
Yes.
Sounded
Councilor
like
King,
Yes.
Councilor Carlson,
Yes.
Councilor Nguyen,
Yes.
Bouncing around everywhere.
Yes.
Councilor Rose,
Yes.
Councilor Russell,
Yes.
Councilor Toomey,
Yes.
and Mayor Petty.
Eric is bringing him to task about how to say agenda.
Mr. Trainer, want to take the mic for a minute, maybe, so that people from Worcester Square understand what's happening?
What's the matter? What? Oh.
What about Webster Square? Which item are we on?
Mayor, on those zoning reports, those are reports of the planning board pursuant to state law, the zoning act. They must have a second hearing by the council or a committee of the council. So all three of those items need to be referred to the committee for further public hearing. Then it comes back to the council for action to pass or not pass.
Okay.
Okay.
So I think you get the sense of the council. So we can have a public hearing to follow state law on that. Thank you, Council. So I think we need to roll call that.
Sure, Mr. Mayor.
We'll send that to Economic Development Committee.
Get back in your huge chair, Trainer.
Mr. Chairman, point of order, which item number? We just voted on.
We just did it 14A and B, but 14C, the planning board accepted with council pretty much accepted the planning board's motion to file the item. However, in the state law, we're doing 14A and 14B.
I think
Still
what's
needs to go
going
back
on
to
with the
Economic
dogs is
Development
that
Committee.
they are
Come
very
back.
excited because they heard that this Saturday
Vote yes.
is not only the Worcester Hot Dog Safari, but the first ever
Vote
hottest
yes
dog
is
competition.
required by
Yes.
state.
Which is
So I'm
pitting
gonna send it to
Thank you.
committee.
multiple dogs from
Yes.
Second Chance
Roll
Animal
call.
Shelter
Councilor Bergman,
to
Yes.
find out who the hottest dog
Councilor Caloria,
Yes.
Councilor
in
G.A.,
America
Councilor
and the
King.
world is.
Yes.
Councilor Carlson,
So I think they're maybe
Councilor Nguyen,
Yes.
just excited
Councilor
about
Rivera.
that. And I don't
Yes.
blame
Councilor
them.
Rose,
Yes.
Councilor Russell,
Yes.
Councilor Toomey,
Yes.
and Mayor Petty.
Well, that's a
Yes.
hot dog.
Okay, we've been informed, Mr. Clerk, that some people didn't get online and wanted to speak. Can you just check one more time?
Mr. Mayor,
A
there's no one
natural
who raised their
on
hand.
camera.
I do not believe she will meet the hottest dog.
Look at her.
Raise your hand if you're listening.
What's her name?
She's like sitting like a people.
Maybe their names or
What's her name, Yenni?
Tara.
Tara.
tell them how to raise their hand.
Yeah, if you're on the
You guys
computer
can
or
see
electronic
it.
device,
She's
if you
got
want,
it.
raise hand button on your phone.
She is
or
terrified of
electronic
life.
device. If you're on the phone, press *9. But if you're on the electronic
Is no one
device,
really going to ask this
raise
douchebag
your
with the
hand.
bags of rubbish and biohazard to like take them away?
Oh, yeah.
Mayor, there's.
Can you go back to New Hampshire, you human bag of trash?
They're all listening because no one's raised their hand.
Who's going to kick his ass? Ready? Oh.
Mr. Chairman,
Yeah.
is it possible, I know
Really?
that previously we have said. if
This is her
there's anyone
favorite
on the line,
position.
If you'd like to
Oh,
speak,
no,
I'm
she
gonna
moved.
unmute you now. I think the problem is that there's some technology challenges at this point.
Okay, so why don't you just read a few phone numbers?
Sure, I can try. There was only one phone number that I could try to unmute and allow to
Okay.
talk. It's 774-312-5996. I muted you now, but you have to press *6.
Again, reading the entire phone number.
Which they're demanding that he does because the majority of this
Hello?
council
Yes, it's your name.
doesn't want to
Citizens?
upset their constituents who are just sitting staring
Yes,
at
my
Facebook,
name is
screaming at it, and
Correct,
can't
and
understand why the
I'm
council
in
can't
the
hear
area
them.
street here in Worcester,
Evil Nico.
and
I-
I just talked
Yeah,
about
but they're not supposed to
2018,
read off the whole phone number.
And I just want to share my experience as a ball player and how
So,
important I think it is for
You
the
don't
field
have
of
to.
opportunity to
The
be built
locations
over,
are out there.
at a deep park.
So you can feel free to go whenever
and I
you
can't
want.
see why
Some people do specials
Spencer Park
on the
is
day of the
wouldn't help,
safari, so you might miss some of
the
those,
kids
but
here
you'll
in the community or
you
how it could be
can, as long as you turn your
a
scorecard in on Saturday,
safety
then
issue,
it's all good.
for the community. As a ball player back in the days, and grew up in Plumley Village, I remember walking to the park, Peace Park, and meeting up with a bunch of guys, Officer Iggy Garcia, and a bunch of guys, and
Yeah, I mean,
it
he
was a
like
great experience for
he
me.
has made overtures
I met a
before
lot of
that he would
friends,
stay on
through
as
that
mayor
ballpark, and I know if it
while
wasn't for that
being a
ballpark,
state senator, but I really
I
don't see that. I
would
think
have
he'd drop it.
probably
I
became the
really
ball
think
I
he'd
think
player
drop
I
it.
became as
the
a
head of the Senate
mentor
will
I
make
became
him
over the
because
years.
they have made others in the
And
past.
as a current
And that's
North High
if
baseball
nothing else,
assistant
that's
coach,
enough for me.
I plan on assisting and helping recruit kids and help kids that don't have this opportunity.
Completely agree,
like I had.
Griffin.
Great for our memes, but that's not what
And I know
we're doing
new
here.
ballpark, I know it to be a great experience for those kids that probably don't know the game and want to learn the game. And most importantly, just build friendship throughout the community and keep the kids safe.
Thank you.
Well, I got a feeling it's I mean, it's definitely not guaranteed
Mr. Mayor, that was
to
the
be
last
come
phone
an
number
issue.
we can identify. The rest of the folks are on electronic devices.
Their first debate was pretty decent.
If you want to raise your hand if you're on the electronic device.
Just saw the barest bit of coverage of it, but I didn't get to see it.
I'm going to try to unmute Mary now. Mary, if you'd like to speak, if you can please.
If you want to see a
a
heated debate, though, Galvin versus Sullivan
not hearing from
on WCBB.
Hi, can you hear us?
That
Did
was
you-
Yes.
Did you hear them on
My name is
on
Mary Q, and I
WBUR?
live at 75.
It's. I
Canadian
think it was
Avenue.
all the same.
Was it the same?
And
Okay.
I'm
Yeah.
calling about the
Radio
situation that the
Boston,
people on Mill Street
WCBB,
find themselves in, and I just
and like
want to
7 other stations.
express my support for the work that Tao
Got
has
wild.
done on this and everyone involved. And I want to say thank you for what's been done so far. But
No, he
I'm
would just come back
hoping
in.
that,
There would be no
going
election.
forward,
He'd just
we
be back
find a
in.
way to address these situations.
There is
and
no
that the people
special elections
responsible
in
are
our
held
charter.
accountable. Thank you.
Thank you.
So it is literally just whoever got the next
we
most
identified
votes.
Glenn Hoppe. I'm going to try to unmute Glenn now. And then Glenn dropped off.
Okay.
The next speaker identified is Pat Nyhan. I'm going to try to unmute Pat now.
Hey, how are you? No, I'm just listening. And I'm with Leidos helping National Grid, so I'm good. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you. The next speaker is Sam Turkin. I'm trying to unmute Sam now.
Apparently, we went back to public comment.
Okay. And
Somebody
then the
was
last speaker
furiously
is Sean
texting
Bushnell.
the
I'm trying to unmute Sean now.
city councilors.
Okay, not hearing from Sean either. I think, Mr. Mayor, that concludes the people that are still remaining on the line. The rest of the folks have dropped from the Zoom platform.
Okay, fine. Okay. Anybody else here? Anything? Okay. Since the auditor was here last week, maybe we can just go to his report real quick. The last meeting, it's on the table item 17B. Is that being held? Nope. See auditor's report determining the audit of the city's payment in lieu of taxes funds for the past 10 years, indicating which agreements are inactive and providing further details that will inform the city council. We're going to send that to MO, Municipal Operations. Is that okay with everybody? Okay. So let's send it to MO. Roll call.
Councilor Bergman?
Yes.
Councilor Calorio?
Yes.
Councilor Gia?
Yes.
Councilor King?
Yes.
Councilor Carlson?
Yes.
Councilor Yan?
Yes.
Councilor Rivera?
Yes.
Councilor Rose? Councilor Russell?
Yes.
Councilor Toomey?
Yes.
Mayor Petty?
Yes. Okay. Anybody else in the audience? I usually don't do that. Anybody in the audience waiting for any particular item or no? Okay.
Taking requests.
We're going to go on the agenda.
Back to the scatter shot you're
appointments.
throwing at this agenda.
9.1A.
This is retail
It's been
politics,
held.
people.
You can't really hold it's only informational, but you can hold the item, but the appointment is made, so you can't hold the appointment. But you can hold the item, I guess. Appointments, 9.2, A, B, C, A, B, and C. Confirmations of recommended appointments of Daria, there's a Corona, John Finn, and Julie Catter, and for the Accessibility Advisory Committee, and recommend Nate Fournier to the Green Worcester Advisory Committee, and Heather Borelli to the Advisory Committee on Status of Women. We can take those. First of all, I just want to thank you
Right
for
back.
your participation. We can take them collectively on the roll call. Roll call.
Councilor Bergman?
Yes.
Councilor Calorio?
Yes.
Councilor G.A.?
Yes.
Councilor King?
Yes.
Councilor Carlson?
Yes.
Councilor Nguyen?
Yes.
Councilor Rivera?
Yes.
Councilor Rose?
Yes.
Councilor Russell?
Yes.
Councilor Toomey?
Yes.
And Mayor Petty.
Yes. 9.4A, transmitting information communication over regarding the license of the Worcester License Commission. Just want to thank you for that detailed report. And someone who would like it, I'm here in a while, and just to see that in writing. If you don't mind, maybe from Chad, just a quick question. But this regarding the license, on the, I should remember right, on the cannabis license, just curious, some people have asked me about the cafes, and maybe if you just can give us a little update on that. My understanding is that it's in front of the governor, and until that's signed, there is nothing for anybody to do, nobody petition, nobody to ask for get a license for that. Go ahead, Mr. Dunn.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, we just got an update this week that it's passed both the House and the Senate. It's now pending in front of the governor. And so once that happens, when he signs that, it'll be up to the local jurisdictions to take action at that time. So we're waiting for that, and then we'll hopefully be able to put something in front of the council in terms of recommendations around that new kind of category for cannabis licensing.
Okay. The on the off-premise licenses, so on the malt and wine, there's like 22 licenses out there. So we still people go through the regular process and petition. They'll go through the hearings.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, that's correct. So it's really the off-premises all alcohol that was already at its maximum, but there were already licenses still available for just the malt and wine.
Yep.
So those will continue to be accepted on a rolling basis through the regular process, but we're doing a little bit more of a structured kind of process for the 5 additional all alcohol licenses, because that has been at its maximum for some time. And so we're accepting applications until later this month, August 23rd. And I know as of today, we have, I think, 4 applications so far.
Okay, so we're publicizing that so people are aware that's available.
Yep.
Okay. Just want to thank the License Commission for the work they do. They do a good job, so thank you. Okay, so we're going to send that to, you want that in ED?
Mr. Chairman, is this 4A, 9.4A?
This is 9.48.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Okay. Oh, I missed that. Okay.
It's a disembodied head.
Yep, sorry about that. My mistake.
9.1A is.
It'd be so much better if it was the old common with the reflecting pool.
Okay, recommend adoption of the order conservation restriction for package.
We had to get rid of the reflecting pool, though.
We'll have a roll call on that.
Too many homeless people were washing
Councilor Bergman?
themselves in it.
Yes.
Councilor Calorio?
Yes.
Councilor G.A.?
Yes.
Councilor King?
Yes.
Councilor Carlson? Councilor Nguyen?
That's why the gates are up around the fountain.
Yes.
As well.
Councilor Rose?
Yes.
Councilor
All the
Russell?
fencing.
Yes.
Councilor Toomey?
Yes.
And Mayor Petty.
Yes. 9.330A, transmit information communication of the fiscal year 2022 financial update as of June 30th, 2022. Okay, Mr. McGurthy, thank you for the report. It looks like we're doing good. So we're ahead of the game, so I appreciate that. And any questions on the financials, send that to MO. Okay, all set. So refer to the MO. Roll call.
Councilor Bergman?
Yes.
Councilor Calorio?
Yes.
Councilor G.A.?
Yes.
Councilor King?
Yes.
Councilor Carlson? Councilor Nguyen?
Yes.
Councilor Rivera?
Yes.
Councilor Rose?
Yes.
Councilor Russell?
Yes.
Councilor Toomey?
Yes.
And Mayor Petty.
Yes. 9.35A, recommend approval to enter into a 5-year contract with Crown Castle and Cherry Road to ensure continuity of the service. Roll call.
Councilor Bergman?
Yes.
Councilor Calorio?
Yes.
Councilor G.A.?
Did I miss anything good?
Councilor King?
Just mispronunciations of the
Yes.
word agenda.
Councilor Carlson?
Yes.
Councilor
I
Nguyen?
did not miss it.
Councilor Rivera?
Yes.
Councilor Rose?
Wait,
Yes.
why was
Councilor
why is
Russell?
Anthony Patron's
Yes.
name
Councilor
being
Toomey?
brought up?
Yes.
And Mayor Petty.
Yes. Finance items
hate that guy.
9.36A through 9.37F.
He's so annoying on all the bird code Facebook groups.
9.39A through F also. Can you take those collectively? Is that okay? No set? Roll call.
Councilor Bergman?
Yes.
Councilor Calorio?
Yes.
Councilor
Those
G.A.?
grant expenditures.
Yes.
Councilor Carlson?
Yes.
Councilor Nguyen?
Yes.
Councilor Rivera?
Excuse me, yes.
Council Rhodes?
Bless you. Yes.
Bless you. Council Russell?
Yes.
Council Toomey?
Yes.
And Mayor Petty?
Yes. 10.A to 10.B, motions to adopt. Roll call.
Mr. Chairman,
Councilor Russell?
this is the rental registry.
Yes.
Okay.
Moving on, sir.
It's more of an order about the inspectional services to ensure city's ordinance concerning the rental registry highlights the impact the program would have on, it's asking for a report.
Oh, okay, so it's not the actual item, not
No.
the actual.
Whoever's screen is up, you just got to.
And the second one's asking also what's
God, so popular.
suggestion, incorporating various suggestions, feedback, testimonies, etc.
Facebook needs a do not disturb feature, or needs to
Okay,
tell me
roll
about
call.
it if it already
Council
has
Bergman?
one.
Yes.
Council Calorio?
Yes.
Council GA?
Yes.
Council King?
Yeah.
Council Merrill Carlson?
Yes.
Council Nguyen?
Yes.
Council Rivera?
Yes.
Council Rose?
Yes.
Council Russell?
Yes.
Council Toomey?
Yes.
And Mayor Petty?
Yes, we have orders. Make sure I don't miss anything here. Okay, 11A. Request the manager request the Commissioner of Public Works and Parks review the intersection of Bronco Street and Melrose Street with the vehicles exit I-290 ramp for the purpose of painting dotted guidelines to keep motorists in their proper lane. Council Merrill Carlson.
As it reads.
Okay, roll call.
Council
This
Bergman?
is, please repaint the lines.
Yes.
I think the otters are up at
Councilman Carlson?
Ecotarium.
Council Nguyen?
Yes.
Council Rivera?
Yes.
Council Rose?
Yes.
Council Russell?
Yes.
Council Toomey?
Yes.
And Mayor Petty?
Yes. Okay, B, request the city manager, request Commissioner of Health and Human Services and Worcester Police Department Animal Control Division provide city council report detailing the input as to issues, concerns, and regards to proposed check raising ordinance.
Yeah.
Council Bergman.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Some of these,
I think that's a fox.
some of these concerns were raised by the previous meeting in July.
Uh-oh. Let me reset this.
Obviously, a meeting that felt, that this item should be economic development, but I really feel that there are more issues than just economic development when it comes to proposed order. Certainly, there are health concerns, and there are also issues that the Animal Control Office could certainly address. I think those reports are necessary. I can conceive of all sorts of tensions being created between neighbors, between landlords, between tenants, between animals that people own and wild animals that people don't own, but that now are in our city, including coyotes.
Now are in our city?
Now?
Implications certainly just.
Mo is terrified of coyotes, by the way. He hasn't slept in over a decade because
So
of the
many
mere
other issues,
notion of coyotes
above and beyond just
in 0 and 602.
They're so cute.
that this potential ordinance impacts. And I really think
I
that
loved seeing them just like trotting on my street during the
intelligent,
early
well-discussed,
pandemic.
item before us
We
to
had
vote on.
foxes, too.
We really need to have multiple departments weigh in. Certainly the health department and certainly animal control divisions are simply two of those departments that really need to weigh in on before I'm certainly prepared to make any sort of decisions on this. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. So we'll send that to the
Chairman?
Council Russell.
Mr. Chairman, quickly, I'd like to sign on to this item if I may.
The more chickens in the city, the more live chickens I could
Maybe
eat.
it's a separate item. Ask the
At
health
midnight.
department also for a report.
On a
that,
full mood.
Specifically, how chickens and keeping chickens and how it would affect our rat problem in the city. If it would. And everything I read, I've been Googling all this stuff since this came up in conversation, and it seems to be a correlation in many communities between that and the rat problem. So I want to make sure that before we go down this road, that our health department looks at it also, as well as animal control.
I'd like to sign on too.
Okay. Council Toomey.
Can we just go around banning everything that encourages rats then? Like people?
Yeah, and trash bags in the city council chambers.
To the manager.
Trash bags in general.
Yeah.
Roll call.
Council Bergman?
Yes.
Council Calorio?
Yes.
Council GA?
Yep.
Council King?
He's talking about chicken. He's wearing a white suit.
Council Nguyen?
Yes.
Council Rivera?
Yes.
Council Rose?
Yes.
Council Russell?
Yes.
Council Toomey?
Yes.
And Mayor Petty?
Yes, request city manager, request assistant commissioner of parks and works and parks provide city council with an update as to the steps being taken.
We had a
and
subway, man.
timeframes associated with improving conditions for water bodies at Elm Park. Councilor Bergman.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I am sure there are a number of water bodies throughout multiple districts of the city that have similar issues and concerns, particularly this summer when there is not a drought, but certainly a minimal amount of water. I do happen to
We
drive.
are in a drought. We're just not in an extreme drought.
I happen to have received more questions about Elm Park than I have about others. And
Well, Mo's a pretty high-speed guy. He doesn't really recognize anything that isn't extreme.
The assistant commissioner as well as the commissioner of public works, and I know there are.
He only
things
drinks
being
Mountain
addressed
Dew.
when it comes to the water bodies at Elm Park, but I do think that a lot of
The only TV show he watches is
residents
MXC.
throughout the city, particularly those in the west side in that district, are looking for
And Ninja Warrior.
some answers.
Yeah.
When you drive by there, you see a rather contrasting situation with a new Darty being built and the historic Elm Park being in disrepair. It's a kind of rather unsettling comparison between the modern technology of new.
We'd never get a subway system
and
here.
that historic landmark that really
There's way too much ledge.
look better. I understand we're dealing with a drought.
And there's
I
all those
understand we're dealing
the
with potential
the
conservation
prohibition
issues,
tunnels.
especially addressing
I we can't get rid of those.
But I understand there's a relationship between the two. As the water body goes down, the weeds become more prevalent. But I think getting some answers to some timetables would be extremely helpful. Thank you. Mr.
That's good. That's when I wake up. So
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, I had.
Manager, roll
I don't know
call.
if
Mr. Bergman?
either of you saw the tweet
Yes.
this morning at like
Yes.
6 a.m. I'm like, this is the most unemployed thought ever.
Councilor Yan?
Oh shit, the sun came up.
Yes.
Councilor Rose?
Yes.
Councilor Russell?
Yes.
Councilor Toomey?
Yes.
And Mayor Petty.
trolleys would be great.
Next item is request the manager, request Commissioner of Public Works and Parks provide city council with a status report.
Light cycles.
Concerning the implementation of the speed humps. Councilor Bergman.
Tron.
Very briefly, Mr. Chairman, my understanding through my conversation with the commissioner.
Worcester would buy a
all
monorail.
these speed humps
That's what
that
like
were
a Simpsons
approved and
style
budgeted
monorail.
for have recently all been, well, many have been done prior recently, but as of now, they are all up. I guess my question would be if there's any outstanding going forward, because I know we budgeted for more that would be put in this year. I know it's almost August, and the hope always is that those are in when school gets out more or less through November, when we're ready to start planning for snow. And it seems like that timetable is going to get dramatically shortchanged this year.
I used to drive a thing called a Molly
next
trolley.
year. Develop a game plan
That's
where
true.
we can get
It's a company in Maine.
Molly trolley is something
having those in those
completely
months, putting
different,
them in
though.
late August.
Uh-oh.
Kind of, benefit of
If we're really going to do this stupid speed hump thing, why don't we just paint all the potholes yellow and just call it a day?
Councilor Bergman?
Yes.
Just
Councilor
put
Caloia?
a
Yes.
10-year ban on road repair and just paint, like when you
Councilmember
report a
Carlson?
pothole, they just come in and they paint a
Yes.
yellow circle around it.
Councilor Rivera?
Yes.
Councilor Rose?
Yes.
Councilor Russell?
Yes.
Councilor Toomey?
Yes.
And Mayor Petty.
Yes. He is held after
Where the hell is
request
she
the
going?
city manager requests the police chief to respond to increased speed enforcement in the Franklin Street neighborhood, including Franklin Street, Suffolk Street, and Norfolk Street.
Lucian, are you talking
Councilmember
about
Carlson?
the show that you're watching right
Yes,
now?
Mr.
What is this?
Chairman,
Impossible to
For
say.
whatever
Really
reason,
Where's Grandma
defies-
going? She's
I
just
don't
wandering off there.
Fucking off.
She was just
on
talking to
the
Russell.
Franklin Street area, there are continual
What
accidents
are
that
the
are
herbs and
happening
spices?
there. And I think it's something that we, the city, need to take a look at. I know under the previous administration, we had gone
Trains are
there
cool.
with the previous commissioner in the section of of Suffolk, Norfolk, and Franklin, right there at that intersection. None of those roads line up exactly. So what's happening is people
Kids love
today are not obeying the stop signs at any one of those coming out of Norfolk or coming out of Suffolk. And what's happening is the folks who are coming down Plantation Street, David Clark is the unfortunate recipient of these accidents. They've already lost a couple of trees of which we've already replaced, as well as the
Yeah, they
building.
just fixed up all of the
accident
stuff there, made it all pretty.
There.
Plowed into again. The guardrail's all almost shoved into the building right now.
The building of David Clark not only took out the tree, destroyed one section of David Clark, and there's a small section that there
I just like to think about it as a
was
man,
guardrail
David
that was
Clark.
put up
Like
during
he's
the
getting
CSX
destroyed by
build
these all
of
these cars.
what we call the bridge.
Why don't they tell him to move?
What we're asking for is, can the city
out of the way.
take a look at us putting
Yeah, they need a
a
telestrator, I think,
guardrail
or we
from
do at least.
Suffolk down to that bridge to help mitigate the accidents. And keep in mind that I know that this has been on council before, is those
There already is a guardrail over
really
partial-
critical, and we have to continue
portion
to
of
come
that
back
section
and
that he's
ask for them
talking
to
about.
be painted. It's really something that I think
That
the city-
intersection
and
is
I
just
might amend this and also
a
ask
mess.
for a traffic study there.
Ban
given the
cars.
fact
little
that
warren of
I
side
know
streets
under
in
the
there is a
last
mess.
administration, when we talked
The whole damn
about
city's a
those
mess.
roads, it was really
I knew it was stupid. It's just a big nightmare.
What a stupid idea.
spending millions and millions of dollars. But I almost wonder if there isn't, that we haven't come to a time that we need to look at a traffic
That
light.
rules.
In
Again,
that area,
if it's just a
because
guy named David Clark,
we've
then that's
certainly
a much
outgrown
cooler
what it
story.
used to be back in the day.
David Clark
Thank you.
bought a
A
space
traffic light would not do anything at that intersection.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, actually, I rise to thank Councilor Carlson. I actually go that way to work every day, and there have been a number of times where there have been near accidents that I've seen.
Caused.
And in fact, I'm even wondering if we should have a pedestrian marker or light, because there are a number of people that walk
there
to
said
work, down to David Clark.
Mo, if you're
as
gonna
well.
keep saying
We
like
should-
slogany things, you can't get mad at us for wanting to make them into
Council doesn't mind
t-shirts.
that being added. And then I just also want to say that David Clark Company should be commended also for the beautification and maintenance of their property and along the side of it.
Yeah, they don't even bring trash bags to this meeting to complain about it.
With a barrel, and he's constantly sweeping the area and cleaning it up. They have some beautiful flowers and foliage all over the place. They really have done a remarkable job. So to support our longtime business here in the city, I absolutely support Councilor Carlson's motion.
Yes, let us protect the company that is contracted by
Someone
NASA to build
supported
space
this. I
stuff.
had this item in front of me in the parking and traffic, and we had some testimony about people clocking at about 90 miles per hour on Franklin Street. So I know this has been
That does not surprise me.
issue.
It actually does. As someone who drives really, really fast, anytime I hear people throw out numbers, especially when they look this stupid, I'm going to call them out on it. Yeah, like 90 is really
I
fast.
could see people hitting 90
Where?
along Franklin Street. That
Like
whole
maybe
long
if they're in a
stretch.
McLaren. Like if you've seen a McLaren on Franklin Street, like maybe it hit 90.
Oh yeah, I did. I saw the Batmobile
to,
down there the other day. So
Manager?
that's actually
Roll
just
call.
Council Bergman?
Yes.
Council Calorio?
Yes.
Council GA?
Yes.
Council King?
I'm gonna go 90 on Franklin
Councilor
today.
Carlson?
Yes.
Council
I think that there are definitely
Councilor Vera?
times where there are people who are drag
Councilor Rose?
racing on that street that get up to 90.
Council Toomey?
Yes.
And Mayor Petty?
My
Yes.
in-laws live just around the
G,
corner,
request
so
the
we go
manager
over there
requests Public Works and
in that
Parks
little
access to walk
section
signs on
frequently,
Lincoln Street
and
from Marsh Ave
I
to Oriole
hear
Drive.
them.
Council Rose.
As it reads.
Roll call.
Council Bergman?
Yes.
Council Calorio?
Yes.
Council GA?
Han, as we all know, Han has received
Councilor
justice.
Carlson?
And
Yes.
Council
boy,
Nguyen?
oh boy, can I not wait
Yes.
for the next
Councilor
Fast and
Vera?
Furious movie.
Yes.
Council Rose?
Yes.
Council Russell?
Yes.
Council Toomey?
Yes.
And Mayor Petty?
Yes. 11H, request the manager work in conjunction with the Commissioner of Public Works and Parks and the Mass Dot to install no left turn signs on Tyson Road from West Boylston Street. Council Rose.
As it reads.
Roll call.
Council Bergman?
Yes.
Council Calorio?
Yes.
Council GA?
That's
Yes.
fair.
Council King?
This is fair.
Yes.
Councilor Carlson?
Yes.
Council Nguyen?
Yes.
Council Vera?
Yes.
Councilor Rose?
Franklin has
Yes.
like one of the
Russell?
only
Yes.
spots where you can
Councilor
actually
Toomey?
see like a city skyline.
Yes.
And Mayor Petty?
It's true. Great
Yes.
view.
Request the manager explore and research space and opportunity to see for an indoor sports facility comparable to 4 Kicks in Marlborough or Teamworks in Northborough. Councilor Rose?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, there are an innumerable amount of teams of all kinds from the city of Worcester who travel to indoor facilities all over New England to compete in basketball, softball, soccer, lacrosse,
She's in
dance,
rare
and
form
the
tonight.
list goes on. These teams, clubs, dance.
Who's your
groups,
favorite? Who's everyone's
from
favorite
cities,
Fast and
towns in
Furious
New England,
character?
and they stay in
Besides
hotels,
Han,
and they
everyone
eat at
knows Han's the
restaurants.
number one answer.
They
Besides
engage in,
Han,
various tourism.
I
and-
saw
and
the
local
first
communities.
one
And so
when it
this
came
item
out.
is twofold. To have a
pretty great, huh?
facility of this
They're
type.
stealing those
Other than that, I
VCRs.
haven't watched
engage
them.
our youth in competition.
You should watch all of them. Get ready for a ride.
And help them reestablish their identities and to overcome some of the challenges that they face in the pandemic.
Good
is
answer.
certainly the priority
Roman,
of
good
this
answer.
item. But the secondary
Edge is
component of
good.
this item is that this is an economic development item.
I mean,
as well.
ludicrous is the right answer, right?
And
Because
doing
that's
this with
that's
my
really the one
board
consistent
office.
character
Many,
that
many
went
years
from
now, and there are
stealing
thousands of
VCRs
families
to being in
within city
space.
limits here.
He's not in the
spending
first
their
one. He
money
comes
outside
in Too Fast, Too
city. So,
Furious.
a facility like this
So-
is a huge win for us, a huge win for the city, a huge win for our youth, but a huge win for us on the economic development side as well. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
This is a good argument.
I love Ludacris, but
also,
I can't let you lie and pretend that he was in the first movie. He just simply was not in the first movie.
Right with the inside track and something that's similar that Boston and West
Came
Coast
quickly,
have.
made a big
And
splash
it'd be amazing.
in
We had someone
Too Fast,
several
Too
years ago,
Furious.
didn't pan out, but we do have
Ludacris
sports
is
teams that would be
Ludacris.
interested
He's
in
this is a term that I've been trying to popularize for a long time. Ludacris is my favorite raptor, which is a rapper who is also an actor. And I think Ludacris is the best of that. DMX was a very good raptor, but I think Ludacris is the best raptor.
Councilor Nian?
And I
Yes.
encourage everybody to
Rivera?
use that term, please.
Yes.
Councilor Rose?
Yes.
Councilor Russell?
Yes.
Councilor Toomey?
Yes.
And Mayor Petty?
Yes. Next item is request the manager develop zoning regulations and enable the use of new types of housing such as tiny homes, congregate new type of living spaces.
I was shocked that it was Toomey who submitted this
housing
one.
and accessory dwelling units, which will assist in increasing the city's housing stock. Further request the manager work with the local leaders and businesses to expand.
What the hell, Eric?
Now program.
I mean, if she was really suggesting tiny homes, it would be surprising, but that she's suggesting tiny homes from a firm that doesn't actually have any product yet and is not likely to ever come to market with anything.
No,
Not
so
at
this
all.
is about
Totally on
increasing
brand.
zoning to enable people to do tiny
Thank you, Mr.
homes,
Chair. I do have,
ADUs,
I need to amend it
adding
to,
additional
state
buildings on site
Worcester Now
to have more units, elder units,
It was
things
the
like
Buy
that.
Worcester Now program, but now
It's pretty broad.
And
Yeah, but her,
I
but what
had
she,
it
her
as
idea stemmed from an article that she read that
I
was
want
based
to
on the
really
firm
bring
that
that
built
to light
Elon
for
Musk's
people.
house.
A lot of folks unaware of it, and it's really quite.
It's a non-existent company.
Program.
It's not because
Some
she
of the
actually
programs
believes in
get
tiny homes. She
$5,000
just
down
found an
payment,
interesting
others
article.
15,000.
That's where all her stuff comes from.
Really a very good program that should be really.
You can, but you can't have any
pushing out,
goddamn chickens in it.
especially when we're trying to help first-time homeowners.
And as soon as someone turns around and points out to her that doing so would completely upend the whole idea of single family zoning, like
such as,
she'll backpedal on that in a heartbeat.
Prefab units that could be put into a backyard will enable families to live together instead of putting maybe an elder family member into a senior housing facility because they're not there all the time. But at least if they're right in the backyard, they're able to have a maintain.
What is that out in the hallway? Is that a
Still have
Honda
the-
Grom or is it like a small motorcycle or something?
So I
I
know
think
that
it's a
that's been
motorcycle.
very popular
Yeah,
across
somebody's
the
getting ready to do a race on
Just don't
Franklin
have-
Street.
It's
after
probably
this.
Moe's. That's
We've been
that's his
talking
whip
about
for
it
the
a
night.
while, and our zoning really needs to take that into
Whose crotch is
consideration.
that?
And the other types of housing,
What?
I tried to be inclusive.
You're done?
Something that I haven't included in that, please.
Recognize that one anywhere.
Request to
Man, I'd
include
know
it.
that
But I
crotch
do think we
doing
need to
90 up
start
Franklin.
taking a
I'll tell
look
you
at
what.
creative
The
ways
back
for
of Moe's Grom.
expand and utilize new types of housing. Especially the last thing that I added, there are cities and towns that are working to enable local public agencies to purchase underused properties such as office buildings and to transform into housing. And I think that that's something that we really need to take a look at, especially as our whole workforce, the way that we work from, so many more people working from home than are going into buildings. And it gives our commercial lenders an opportunity, not lenders, I'm sorry, commercial businesses an opportunity to be able to transform that property into something that's going to benefit the community. Thank you.
Thank you. Send that to the manager. Roll call.
Councilor Bergman?
Yes.
Councilor Calorio?
Fuck you going?
I'm really not liking how Batista is running the ability to get in touch with
Councilor Nguyen?
people,
Councilor
like
Rivera?
for reporters and just
Rose?
people in general
Yes.
asking
Councilor Russell?
questions of
Councilor
department
Toomey?
heads.
Mayor Petty?
Yes.
What's going on with that?
He's basically just stonewalling everything. Everything has to be a FOIA request now.
Update concern procuring additional funding to pay for implementation of said traffic calming measures.
Gross.
As it is. Roll call.
Councilor Bergman?
Yes.
Councilor Calorio? Councilor G.A.?
Yes.
Councilor King?
Yes.
Councilor Merrill Carlson?
Yes.
Councilor Nguyen?
Yes.
Councilor Rivera?
Yes.
Councilor Rose?
Yes.
Councilor Russell?
Yes.
Councilor Toomey?
Yes.
And Mayor Petty?
Yes. 11L, request the manager provide council report.
You could bring
concerning
in
response
a trash
protocol
bag and
involving
your house
condemned
could be in it.
as a result of a natural disaster, fire, or construction, as is the case in 2C7 Mill Street. Said report should include information on who responsible is to be in communication with residents during and after the emergency. Now, our concerns and needs of residents compiled and shared with the city manager's office, other departments, and local elected officials. What departments are responsible for any protocols triggered in the case of a mass disaster, and what general laws, regulations are followed. Fines, penalties for liens levied in the owner of a condemned property. A list of costs that the city is seeking reimbursement for the cases of both Gay Street and Mill Street catastrophes, with an explanation of the process for recouping costs. Mechanism in place for the city's bidding and building permit process to protect Worcester residents and hold contractors responsible. What local or state public agent entity is responsible for investigating a major construction accident in Worcester, and the protocol for and options the city has for sheltering displaced residents and sources of funding for the same. Council Hajiai.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I want to provide a little bit of framework for, what the thought was behind putting this order. So I want to share
This is a city
with
council
you
fit.
and the public who's been following this, that for the last 26 days, in conjunction with community partners, Representative LaBeouf, Senator Goby,
Really respects 500% humidity too.
Everybody really.
I kind of wish my shorts were made of that fabric right now.
Manager's office, inspectional services.
This
and
is Main South Mall. This is the
emergency
first thing
management
of real
those first few
consequence that's come up
days.
tonight.
We have all been focusing
Nothing
on
too crazy so
supporting
far.
the families at Mill Street. Now, there's still a lot of anger and frustration about what these families have been forced to endure.
Get out
So,
of here.
for example, I will never forget the day that in the hotel lobby where Councilor Nguyen and I with Representative LaBeouf watched in disbelief as the property owner showed up 30 minutes late after rallying the tenants the night before with a constable in tow, handing out summons in the hotel lobby to a traumatized group of people after they lost their homes and were left to figure out their lives. So 110 people whose lives were turned completely upside down within a matter of minutes were dragged to court 4 times, 10 days after the building collapsed to deal with the trail of mess this property owner and the construction company have left behind. And that mess is nearly not over. Even though the residents have a few more weeks at the hotel, thanks to the Department of Community Housing Development and all the advocacy that went into making that happen, they are facing the brutal reality of unaffordable rents and unavailable apartments. In the last 26 days or so, I have gotten to know these families well, speak to them.
Again,
on
a
regular
meme she
basis,
made us make.
have learned about their struggles, their lives, and their backgrounds. By the way, they're not just my constituents. They are our constituents. They are our neighbors. And so we owe it to them to make sure that there's clarity about our role in bringing about accountability. So this order tonight is about understanding both from a policy perspective and our internal workings, as to what resources and regulatory mechanisms we have in place to protect our residents and hold these property owners and construction companies accountable. For example, what does it look like when out-of-town investors are the major source of housing, as we are seeing in Worcester? What does it look like when they cut corners and our residents get caught in the middle of legal battles between parties that have plenty of resources to lawyer up and duke it out in court as long as they please? What happens if these property owners' repairs to the building are done so they can jack up rents for profit, as opposed to making the building habitable according to the condemnation order as dictated by the state sanitary
read this piece,
code?
and Yenni, excellent work with Bill on that.
Their feet to the fire. I also
I
want
did
to
that while I was on
understand
vacation.
practices and
Oh,
current
that'd be
policies that we have in
That's up in
place
New Hampshire.
that we follow and govern our
Got me away from
response
family
to
for a little bit.
irresponsible property owners and contractors. Note I said irresponsible, not all. It's about clarifying
Great
how
article, though.
are we pushing back against harmful
Anyone
practices,
here hasn't read it, please do.
especially on
I mean,
behalf of those
like,
most vulnerable.
I
hope
shared
this
it a
is
couple
the start of a
times, and
robust
people that
discussion we can
don't
have
know Bill's writing
about the role
were
we should play
like
in protecting the
shocked
well-being
because
and
one,
rights
they're
of
not
our
hearing about
residents,
the story,
especially when they have
and two,
nothing
just how
but
much
us and the
info you
community
guys were able to dig
rely
out,
on. So I look forward to the report
and how
and any
bleak it
concrete
is.
steps we can take from all the learnings of this experience. I remain grateful to the city staff, to all the community partners who have supported and continue to support these residents. They deserve justice. And so whatever municipal power we have, I expect we will use it to prevent the next irresponsible property owner from treating our residents as if they are disposable. They're not. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Nguyen.
Boom.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I would like to thank Councilor Haji for putting in this order. And, you know, I'm really outraged by this incident. And I hope that folks who aren't really start paying attention, because it's not okay. It's not okay. And it's roughly 100.
Yeah, I forgot to
folks
mention
in
that
those
earlier. Bill is
streets
sick.
affected and
He's at
unhoused
urgent
because
care
of a
right
roof
now.
collapse. And I think, you know, if you just
think
think
the
about the
poop
ways
thing
in
got
which
him, is
sudden
what he
things
sounded
can
like
happen that could
was the issue.
transform people's
And
lives.
he's transforming,
That
so
was it. That was within 5
they're
seconds.
taking care of him.
Their lives were changed. And, you know, I'm so thankful that a lot of community folks, like Councilor Haji mentioned, you know, even the city of Worcester really supported, and a lot of organizations.
Yeah, I mean, you
But
can
it is
subscribe
about
to
not
his
just
Patreon,
doing
his
this
Substack. That's probably the best
work,
way to get
reactive
some
work.
care for
We
him.
have to be proactive. And that's what I want
It's got
our
a Venmo.
city to start doing.
You can Venmo
I've
Woot
been getting
Nanny, we'll
to
send it to
know
him.
a lot of the families.
Whatever you guys want to do.
And I think
Drop off
it's
cigarettes at his house.
beautiful the ways in which they came together as a community. And, you know, it's been really heartwarming to see the ways in which residents who just a tragedy happened and they found ways
Listen,
to
Eric, I
come
just saw
together.
Weird Al the other
And
night.
it's sad
so
that it has to
Oh, did
be
you go?
in a hotel
Yeah.
where they lost
It
I
was.
heard he did the lounge version of Dare to Be Stupid.
and to be pushed to go to court.
Yes. And he also
4
did
times,
the
5
medley,
times, and still going.
the lounge version
And
of
you know, I know it's still a
Amish
legal
Paradise.
thing, but when you think about
Turn the Red
justice,
Floor.
you think about
One of the best
how
concerts
these
I've ever
folks
been to in
who
my
have
life.
to
He
find
did
new
no
housing,
parodies until the
have
end.
to continue
It
their
was,
jobs, have to continue their lives like normal,
One-
and
no
then
joke, one of the
to
best
be
concerts
like,
I've
in
ever
order
been
for
to
them
in
to
my
have
life.
Yeah, I was really
justice,
upset
they
I
have
missed
to
that
have their own legal
He's
representation.
still on tour
which,
for a while.
Honestly,
You can
not a lot
go
of
a little
people have
farther out to
access
catch him, and I absolutely
What are we
recommend
gonna do about it? What responsibility do we have as a city to do about it? And so I
Also played
understand our city has
The Night Santa Went Crazy,
limitations,
which is
but I
one
also
of my favorite
understand that we
songs of all
represent the
time.
people,
I'm so happy.
and they deserve a protocol that would actually serve them with justice, dignity, and care. And I think Councilor Haji's questions, the ones that were laid out in this report, is not only timely and relevant, but that it sets the tone
Yeah,
that
it's
we are
pretty great.
people-centered.
He
We need to
he did
center the
the
communities
closer for the
here.
show was Albuquerque,
And like I said,
and he
sudden
lengths
events happen
longer
but
than
we
the
need to be prepared
normal
to
11
these
minutes.
situations. And
Oh,
so,
wow.
you know, despite it being a tragedy of Gage Street and Mill Street, that moving forward, when there's fires, when there's roof collapses or any sort of tragedy, that we just, it's like a click. We just know how to get it going. And so, I have hope in our admin to do that. I just think whatever protocol we do, it has to be people-centered. These folks are traumatized and they need our support. They can't do all this navigation when they have to deal with their lives. And so I hope that we just, once again, stay people-centered, not business-centered, not, ways in which we could support landlords versus tenants, but actually the people who are most vulnerable.
I agree, Molly.
Center them. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Rivera.
Yeah, I just want to thank Councilor GI for bringing this forward. There was a previous councilor that said when you've been in council long enough, you kind of begin to hear similar items. And this isn't the first time we've had to deal with, with problem properties that have really has caused chaos. I mean, definitely this to this magnitude, this was really significant. And then I think, we have to think about that people's lives have been completely disrupted. Their homes where they were with their families and creating memories. I mean, home is supposed to be a refuge, your sanctuary, your place where you're laughing around the table, where you're
Please tell me you were getting in with inspection services on that. And if not, message me and I can help you
all
sort
those
that.
things have been destroyed. And the fact of being able to just also,
I know, Mo, you like to keep your
after the fact,
stuff secret, but I'm more than happy to keep your
being treated.
Yeah, no, you can trust Yenni.
The issue of having, slumlords, absentee landlords that really think they come in, they see cash cows, they're like, oh, Worcester's development area, and they're purchasing, but they're not caring, they're not there. And, that's not everybody. We have several landlords that are great and are wonderful, but we have our fair share of seeing, this type of thing. We saw the fire. We've seen other fires. We've seen other disasters. And it really becomes, a constant issue.
Now you're just high enough.
We definitely, so one is to be able to continue to address this issue of what's happening and
ain't that the truth?
With the landlords and making sure that our people are in adequate living
There are a
space.
couple others in the area that I know that I do trust, but they're all people like me and Kara who own a few buildings, one building.
Responses,
like
I think that
across the street that way, there's an old couple that rents out the 2 floors above them, and same thing, 2 houses that way for me.
For us to be able to have
small-time landlords
a level of planning
really
of having a response
the
when
ringer.
someone goes through a trauma like this. And so this situation was traumatic for these individuals and these families.
I mean, the fact that we don't have a structural engineer who can make
very hard
decisions
to have to
on
navigate systems and court and
going
services
back into the building.
very, very
we have to
overwhelming.
contract out,
and I think that having
that the building is
being able to
enterable.
have
it's crazy.
a trauma response of some kind to end.
I want to find out whether or not that's somebody
where
quit
it would help
or
facilitate
we just don't have
the
that position.
services, filling out any paperwork, anything that they would need, that it would be at hand, and not just kind of met with like, here's
Well, someone applies for a job down in mechanical. They just give them a stack of Lincoln logs. And if they can get them more than 3 blocks high,
so
then
people know, listen, we're in this together. And it's true. It may be happening in District 5, but these are all our constituents. These are all our people. This is all our community. And so even as District 4 City Councilor, I stand with this community. And I think, I really commend the work that was done by elected leaders and some of our community folks. And I look forward to, like I said, we hope that something like this will not happen again, but we definitely would need to be able to have a response to make sure that we are focused on the individuals being able to deal with the trauma that they have and create some stabilization so they can actually move on with their life and not be stuck in a limbo of being in a hotel, navigating systems.
Anytime.
Can they get an apartment? Can they not get an apartment? What's going to happen? Do they have to go to court? It's what they're
Yenni
going through
Desroches
right now
on
is
every
enough.
platform.
How do we facilitate this so they can actually, kind of really productively move on with their lives?
Yenni Desroches
I think that's something any one of us would want. So thank you very much, Councilor Hygiai, for your work along with other folks and for bringing this agenda forward.
Thank you. And
Oh, good. She
Councilor
stopped her
Rupp.
ramble of saying the same thing 10 times.
Mr. Chairman, I'd rise to support this item too, but I want to be clear that I think that the administration should be congratulated for the efforts.
If the gap is still there, that still does not meet code.
Quick fashion to try to mobilize the services and the resources of city government all on that as they do in any major.
But if the gap is filled in with the paint, then it technically meets code, which is
this council. I've seen at the city manager's office, whether it's a city manager or a previous city manager, has always had a team ready to go, and they don't necessarily know what the emergency is going to be, but they're ready to go and ready to put everybody, whether it be for profit, non-profit, and
they might not be the right people for the job, but they're the people for the job.
I do think, though, it is a good to have maybe to take it one step further, because when you have a situation,
I want to hear George Russell say she was an astronaut.
Other agencies or nonprofit groups to take the lead on trying to take people to that next step. I think maybe the city should have a little bit more there. Mr. Chairman, I want to just put an asterisk on this, though, if I can.
Oh, he almost said it.
Because this is an item that when we're talking about the rental registry and something that I supported in the budget, I was perfectly fine with giving the code department the money that they requested for adding those new staff members and those new inspectors. But I think, and I've said it before and I'll say it again, that we need to concentrate instead of going across the board and worrying about people that are renting a single family house or renting a condo someplace. We should be concentrating on these bigger
stupid
buildings.
shit makes it so that your place doesn't meet code. Like if your screens have holes in them, your landlord has to replace
them. There are always these larger buildings, 3 units and above. And we need to get that issue addressed before we start getting into everybody. It's okay to ask people to register. It's okay to say who's renting a unit. But before we send the code department to spend all kinds of time and to set as a priority for them to start inspecting, condos or single family houses or 2-family houses, especially if they're owner occupied, I think that the concentration needs to be on these bigger units. Mr. Chairman, that system that the Claire and the council office has educated me on, and many of us, I'm sure, the block builder thing, I try to learn how to do it. And I'm
nice.
Always with that authenticator thing that goes off and never quite able to get it, but I've got it a couple times. And when I did get it, I was able to look up this property, and I saw on the list this property had a fire in it back, I think it was 2014, if my memory serves me right. Permits were pulled, work was done. But, was the work done right? Was this area?
The system that he's talking about allows
or if the manager knows,
all of the city councilors, as well as the police department, fire department, code department, everyone to see all of the reports on any given building, any noise complaints, any code breaks, anything.
All in one spot and they collapsed.
It's one of the first steps into getting everything integrated for the city.
Spread out all over the building, so that wasn't the answer. So you wonder what was going on here with this building. Was there termite damage? Was there water damage?
There was
I'm not in the business of defending this landlord, but when you think about it, how about the landlord before him? How about the person that just sold this building for well over $1 million a very short time ago and let this building go to disrepair? Where is he or she in this equation? Where was the?
Seems you just say where are they?
The various different departments and being on top
for
of
practice. I mean,
this owner pulled the building.
I know that George Russell probably. Yeah. George probably never willingly speaks to two, but you might have to someday.
Well,
and it might be helpful to.
No, actually, they get along fairly well.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So, I mean, this is,
He
there's
feels
a
like
lot
somebody
of
that doesn't like new
conversation that needs
people,
to be
but
had all around.
that might be
around
me
the
putting
community.
something on
But I
him.
think that as a city, we need to stop and think, where are all these major catastrophes happening?
Yeah, like what if they were trying to find
Happening in
out
these
like
large
who has like the
structures,
coolest trick or treating houses, and they
many
use that
times,
to like
many units more than
defeat
even a
me.
3-family, and at least a 3-family. And I think that that's where our emphasis going forward with this rental registry needs to be. We shouldn't be setting an agenda. If we've
complaints wise,
already,
so we have
if we're up 10 runs,
kitty corner to my property. There's
bring in
a
some celebrities to get some more runs on top
shelter.
of it. We can take our time
And the
and pace
person
on
next
that.
door to
Right
them
now, we're
constantly
behind.
is submitting
We're behind on these
complaints
buildings
about them.
that are
Some of them
having a
okay,
serious problem.
and completely makes sense. Like, do not throw onions at her dog.
Priority. And then after we're done with that,
Literally, they were throwing onions over the fence.
Then let's talk about every rental.
I thought that was
in the meantime,
there have been people who have been there who have thrown rocks at my house
Chairman, I'd like to sign on to the.
to anger the dog and get her to
Number 2
bark
and
at them.
Sean Rose would like to sign on. We have
Is that what's happening tonight? Someone's throwing rocks at
No,
dog?
no, those people who
you're
lived
up
there years ago, when the building first
I think
opened.
everybody wants to sign
But
on.
being able to see that and see that there are this many
yes.
complaints
So, Mr.
about a
Chairman,
building, if
I
someone's
certainly
submitting something
do want
new,
to
you can see
sign
how
on.
much of a history
We know
that
as
building
a
has of
city,
complaints and how
that
whether or
unfortunately,
not those complaints are
but
annoyances or serious issues
sort
that you need
of
to get involved
see
with
some
different
of this
things. So there's a
coming.
lot of different things that
Some
go
of
into
our
that system
buildings in this
that
city.
make it really
And
useful.
unfortunately, people are seeing them as we call it. And I'm not saying whether it's this landlord. We have a ton of very, very good property owners in this city. Let me be very clear about that. However, we do have some that we know, and especially I know in District 4. The Gage Street fire, no, there wasn't 110 people in that building, but there were 4 people who died. They lost their lives. And, we all go on each and every day and we think that this guy who bought this building, that it would be natural that he would insure it or she would insure it. There's many cases in this city of Worcester that there's people who own property and those buildings aren't insured. And I'm not saying that, and I don't know the answer to this question. Can we as a city, is that something we can do? But $750 isn't really giving anybody much of anything. $750 is,
And
in
unfortunately,
today's
that's all the state
world,
requires.
it really is nothing. But on the other hand, let me say this, $750 for the Mill Street folks, for the Gage Street folks who got zero, okay? For the Gage Street folks who basically wind up homeless is what happened to them. And I, by the way, am in no means saying that this city has not provided the services that we typically do, and we've done a hell of a job. I think the question really for us tonight is, do we all know what we do? Is really the question. What does the city do when we have a tragedy that takes place in the city? Who is it that is the respondent? Who are the agencies that come and respond?
So it sounds like basically everyone agrees that this needs to happen, and they're just
merely saying, I think a lot of folks don't understand the key players who come into place when some of this happens. I think the challenge for us today is we're a city that's faced with
you don't have to have renters insurance,
and we have no place to house
anyone who's renting. You should have renters insurance
in our city's history. That's our number one issue.
If you have a car, it adds like $10 to your monthly bill maximum.
Typically
for most people
gone through disasters. And I'm saying this because of my days working at the United Way and working with the American Red Cross. I knew how that system worked, and I knew how the agencies all came into play. But there was a place for us to put people. There was a place for us to give them the security that they needed during their tragic times. I think today it's become much more difficult. So I think we have multiple things that are happening. And yes, this city has always put people first. And this administration And certainly under the leadership of this mayor and this council, I don't think anybody would never put people first. That's what we do.
It's nice that you want to believe
But the question really is for us to look at what we do when something like this happens and what can we do differently. And I think to my colleagues' response about the larger buildings, I do think that that's where we really need to take a look at, because as I look at what took place on Gage Street and that same individual owning properties around this city and in my district and in some of your districts, and you know what? You don't know that they're there, and you don't know that those who you represent, whether they're going to wake up tomorrow morning or whether they're going to have the home to live in. So I really do think that that's someplace that we should start. And problem properties, we've talked about it. We've talked about
renters insurance would not have helped.
We've talked about it.
But renters insurance would help with
the new
the damage the landlord is doing to the tenant's property.
Administration,
like the guy that had the
so I think
stuff
if
going in through the window and his TV got
take
destroyed.
all that information
That would,
and put it to
depending on the renters insurance,
Councilor Haji is looking for and the rest of us. I think a lot of it is there, and then we could take a look at it and say, what else is it that we can do? So thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, because I think everybody wants to sign on. I'm sorry, Councilor Cora.
Thank you. So some of the things I was going to mention have already been discussed, so I'm not going to reiterate it. But basically, this is a good topic that needs to be discussed. And I think the key here is what can we do? And I think we all agree
definitely.
to
Lying about
ensure that this doesn't happen.
They
again.
were in there
I
moving
think
shit around.
This is another heart-wrenching
even though the building was condemned.
People are displaced. They have no place to go. We have a housing crisis. And for all those reasons,
frenemies,
as a city, as a people, we need to look at this and say, okay, what can we do to make it better? We've done a lot of good things in the city. As Councilmember Carlson says, we are thoughtful in what we do and how we deliberate. So I think this is really a good first step. One of the things that my colleague, Councilor Russell mentioned, and I think Councilmember Carlson kind of expanded on it, that is that we need to have like a priority list. When we start to go out to look at properties, do we have, and I'll ask administration this, do we have do I want to call it a slumlord or list or
problem properties? Yes, there's definitely a list of problem properties.
Available to the administration
Things
at this moment.
very possible for you to find.
The inspector's department does keep that list. They have a list.
Okay, so I don't know this landlord, and I haven't done enough research on this.
Oh, an evergreen
know
quote from Donna Calorio. I haven't done enough research.
So we know the landlords, and like Councilmember Carlson mentioned in her district, if we know the people that are out there constantly violating the law or just
I
trying
could
to
bring
get
in
by,
Bain to take over the city,
inadequate housing, and or
destroy Polar
ones that
Park in the
it's just
process.
really disgusting to live in. I think that's a good first step to look at. And if we can isolate
that's more Joker's territory.
Maybe there's something we can put in place. I
Well,
don't know that, but I think
yeah,
this
in
is
Dark
a
Knight
good
Rises,
subject
Bane
to start
destroyed
conversation
the
going.
football stadium.
Unfortunately, it came on the heels of a tragedy.
But
but
we can bring in
wanna
Joker
say
too.
thank
I'm
you to
happy
all
for that.
Have provided help and support to these families. Thank you.
You can do that cool parade that you
I just
did
want
in
to say
the
too that
Tim Burton movie.
Haji for taking the lead in this in her district. Very good job, and it's a good order. And I think over the last few years,
he shows up every year
people first,
at the end. So
we'll
we'll see.
People, and we'll
He'll
continue to do so.
definitely be there because
He's going to
really
show up.
important.
He's going to have to take the microphone from me. So
What
I'm
happens after a fire?
curious if he'll
What
put
happens
himself
after
in a
catastrophe to the people that live
compromising
there?
position, not
American
knowing
Red
what I'm going to
Cross in
say.
my way is good for a
So-
period of time.
Does he still show up with mustard already on his tie?
Yeah,
One
it's
time
helpful.
It was
Yeah.
easy to find
It's hot dog
places
time.
to live. It's a lot more difficult. And you're going out to Leominster now to find people through the Central Mass Housing Alliance. And I just want to also thank the HCD and the Housing Alliance and all the different organizations, city managers.
Yeah, that's very, very typical Worcester is to
put this
you
all
know
together.
speak about
And
these
that's a good
things when
question to
you
ask. And
people
how do you
talking
go
like
forward?
talking
When
from
you
the
have another
perspective of somebody that
catastrophe.
inherited their
And we've
home.
had a number of
acting
catastrophes
like
in
they
the
know
city
what
of
the fuck
Worcester,
is
so we
going on.
understand that. So we'll send that to the manager.
I would-
We'll report back and have a good discussion.
Absolutely.
I'm in a weird place because I grew up with a
Subcommittee.
family in real
Roll call.
estate.
Councilor Bergman?
Yes.
Councilor
In
Florio?
the
Yes.
Manhattan
Councilor
area.
Gio?
Yes.
Councilor King?
My family owns multiple buildings in Manhattan.
Councilor
And
King?
Yes, yes.
Councilor Carlson?
Yes.
Councilor Yan?
to say that my politics are different from them is an understatement.
Councilor Russell?
Yes.
Councilor Toomey?
Um,
Mayor Petty?
but
Yes,
the
request the manager provide
the
council report
experience
concerning the
of
process
growing up
used
in a
to name
family
various
that
spaces
does
of
that,
owned and or funded, including by the limits of parks, playgrounds, public
seeing
buildings,
the inner
boardwalks,
workings of
which includes
what the
streets and that
friends
too.
are doing
Thank you,
is stuff
Mr.
that
Mayor.
my family wouldn't
This
even do. And my
essentially
family's
came up a
not.
lot during the
They are
during
not.
the construction and completion of the boardwalk.
They're probably not entirely above the board.
So there was a lot of talk amongst our neighbors in the neighborhood meeting about
but
what we name it, can we make suggestions?
The things that
So
the
I started
friends are
thinking about
doing,
some recent conversations too. How
I
do we
just
name streets? How do we name public spaces?
I don't understand how they
I learned, for example,
have any
that,
time to exist
the veterans
and
and
handle all
memorials
of the properties without any
Parks, I believe,
staff.
standing committee.
It's crazy.
Is
If something like this was bound to happen.
Street naming. Or veteran memorials, and then the parks commission.
My
is
family's buildings at least have
responsible
supers
for, as I understand it,
and
playgrounds and or parks. But there's other public
like maintenance
spaces that I think
teams
would
and
behoove us as
door
a city,
staff
as
for some
other
of the
municipalities
buildings
like
and
Lowell and Somerville, to have maybe one body, a naming committee, as I've seen in a lot of examples,
just
that can sort of
really
streamline the
bothers me.
process, can have a clear process that provides.
Yeah, they're
clarity
villains for
residents.
sure.
And also, it doesn't require people to go to different bodies at different times. So I'm just looking for some more understanding about sort of what the processes are in place already and whether we could look at some examples like Somerville and Lowell, just 2 examples in Massachusetts that have one committee that's all responsible for naming and supporting residents to figure out all these processes.
Thank you. So we'll send that to city manager. Roll call.
Councilor Bergman?
Yes.
Councilor Calorio?
Yes.
Councilor Haji?
Yes. Yes.
Councilor King?
oh yes, hot dog eating contest between Robin and Joe would be hilarious.
Councilor King dropped off. Councilor Carlson?
Yeah.
Councilor Yan?
Yes.
Councilor Rivera?
We do
Yes.
technically have a hot dog
Rose?
eating
Yes.
contest as
Councilor
part
Russell?
of the
Yes. Councilor Toomey?
of the safari.
And Mayor Petty?
Called the
Yes.
top dog, whoever eats the most hot
12A,
dogs throughout the day.
Actual evaluation.
So they're welcome to enter
Municipal and Legislative
if they'd
Operations
like.
Committee.
They will have to run
Roll
into
call.
me because
Councilor
I'm
Bergman?
entering
Yes.
top dog for
Councilor
the first
Calorio?
time
Yes.
Councilor Haji?
in 11
Yes.
years this
Councilor
year.
King?
And I don't plan on letting any political candidate beat
Councilor
me. I
Carlson?
don't care who
Yes.
they are.
Councilor Yan?
Yes.
Councilor Rivera?
Yes.
Councilor Rose?
Yes.
Councilor Russell? Councilor Toomey?
Yes.
And Mayor Petty?
Yes. 13A, communication with city clerk, and place it on file.
They tried and
Roll call.
failed.
So I think Councilor King had requested to send an MLO. I don't know if, that's what I think he requested. I don't know if he's
Okay.
on the line, but
We can do that. Yep. We'll send that to MO. Roll call.
Councilor Bergman?
Yes.
Councilor Calorio?
Yes.
Councilor Haji?
Yes.
Councilor King? Councilor Carlson?
Yes.
Councilor Yan?
Yes.
Councilor Rivera?
Yes.
Councilor Rose?
Yes.
Councilor Russell? Yes. Councilor Toomey?
Yes.
And Mayor Petty?
Yes, we did 14A, B, and C. We're on 15A, report of the Committee on Economic Development on the 2 proposed ordinances to advertise. Roll call.
Councilor Bergman?
Yes.
Councilor Calorio?
Yes.
Councilor Haji?
Yes.
Councilor King? Councilor Carlson?
Yes.
Councilor Yan?
Yes.
Councilor Rivera?
Yes.
Councilor Rose?
Yes.
Councilor Russell?
Yes.
Councilor Toomey?
Yes.
And Mayor Petty?
Yes. Councilor Russell?
Just, I know we already voted on the item, but is there anything that, I mean, I've already made the comments on the rental registry previously.
Could we refresh to
Is there any
resync?
direction
Yeah.
that this council or this, as one council or?
Councilor Russell?
Yes.
Councilor Toomey?
Yes.
And Mayor Petty?
Yes.
And I don't know if my colleagues think the same way, but I really think the priority needs to be on those larger buildings.
He desperately wants the priority to be on the larger buildings.
I'm just saying, when you have a limited amount of staff and you're out there, let's do these big buildings first.
And I don't disagree. I think that it makes sense to tackle the big buildings first.
I'll come back with the final.
Yeah, it feels like
15B is placed on file.
I just feel I don't know. I'm just distrustful, and it sounds like a dodge when he's
Yes.
Yeah.
like there's ulterior motives.
Yes.
Councilor Nia?
There's also not a whole lot of huge
Yes.
ones
Also,
in the
yes.
city, so like getting through them and then going to all of the like 3-family, 5-family buildings
A's amend the organization
makes
of city
sense
agencies by
to
creating
me,
the Department of
personally.
Transportation and Mobility and as a cabinet agency, moving the off-street parking
No,
board
just
from
loves
duties and
all of
responsibilities
you.
to Department of Public Works and Parks.
She's
Department of
busy tonight.
Transportation Mobility, moving the Customer Service Center from the Department of Public Works and Parks to the Emergency Communications Department, and revising the organizational ordinances for the Department of Public Works and Parks and the Emergency Communications Department to reflect those changes. Roll call.
Councilor Bergman?
Yes.
Councilor Calorio?
Yes.
Councilor GA?
Fucking trash bags are still there.
Councilor Carlson?
Yes.
Councilor Yan?
Yes.
Councilor Rivera?
Yes.
Councilor Rose?
Yes.
Councilor Russell?
Yes.
Councilor Toomey?
Yes.
And Mayor Petty.
Yes. 17A, 17B, we already did. 17C is the Chambers of, what's that?
That was held.
Oh, I'm sorry, just want to say we're going to hold that. We need 4 votes to hold that.
Correct.
And roll call.
Councilor Bergman?
Yes.
Councilor Calorio?
Yes.
Councilor GA?
Yes.
Councilor King? Councilor Carlson?
Yes.
Councilor Yan?
Yes.
Councilor Rivera?
Yes.
Councilor Rose?
Yes.
Councilor Russell?
Yes.
Councilor Toomey?
Yes.
And Mayor Petty.
Yes. This brings us around the suspension. Councilmember Carlson.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, forgive me while I read this order under suspension.
It's rap lyrics.
Request the city manager be
She's on
and
AZ
hereby
lyrics right now.
Requested to request the city solicitor engage with the Division of Law Enforcement and Department of Fisheries, Wildlife, and Environmental Law Enforcement to prepare an ordinance that places a moratorium on all I have no idea, sorry. Moratorium.
Clearly didn't write
on
this.
residents who do not have a property right and residents who do not occupy properties around Indian Lake from personal watercraft and jet ski use, and explore a non-residential ban for personal watercraft and jet ski use. The reason for this is that we're coming up on, I think as everyone knows, over at Indian Lake, there was a ban that was put on jet skis over at Indian Lake, but that expires this September, the end of September. So what we have to do is have a meeting prior to the expiration date of the current ban that we have, because that was a temporary ban. So that's the reason for this order, so that we do it before the September 30th deadline.
So you want this to be sent to committee?
So want this.
I find it so strange that that is part of
committee,
District 2.
And as it would have it that Council Rose, who represents the folks around the lake, as well as myself, both of us are on this committee. So having this meeting and taking care of this will certainly be helpful. I just want to say thank you to the city solicitor for working us through this process, along with the commissioner and Rob Antonelli, as we get through this process. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Councilor Rose.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Just some comments in addition to Councilor Carlson's order here. I fully support that, of course. And I know that I've been having conversations with the city solicitor the past couple of weeks to reach out to state officials and others to see what process we need to follow in an effort to be able to make the moratorium permanent, or just have conversations about what that might look like. Also had some conversation with the acting city manager. So I appreciate us getting this moving forward before, the moratorium is lifted. I know there's a lot of concern. I was planning on putting something on for the next council meeting, but this actually is much smarter
happen
and more beneficial
now.
to do it this way.
And we'll have
I am just rising to show my support.
a few
Just
split
to appreciate
districts.
everybody coming together and recognizing that we're at a little bit of a time crunch here. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Okay. We'll send that to the Parks Committee. Council Adria.
Oh, sorry. Are we taking a vote on that? Or?
Oh, I was just going to do a roll call.
I did a different thing, so I'll
You want something different?
Yeah, I had something different.
Okay, let's do this one first. And so the motion is to send this to the Parks.
So, Mr. Mayor, just for clarification, we sent both to the manager and the parks, so the manager can at least bring some.
13A.
Yes.
In the attachment, there's the new maps.
So we can have the meeting. So.
Councilor Bergman?
Yes.
Councilor Calorio?
Yes.
Councilor G.A.?
Yes.
Councilor King?
Yep.
Councilor Merrill Carlson?
Yes.
Councilor Nguyen?
Yes.
Councilor Rivera?
Yes.
Councilor Rose?
Yes.
Councilor Russell?
Yes.
Councilor
Nope,
Toomey?
wrong copy.
Yes.
And Mayor Petty?
Yes. Councilor Hadria.
Actually, copy.
Quickly, we supported Jay, the young man who helped support the victims of the crash. I learned from one of the residents that had reached out originally to get the city to recognizing that he wants to become a paramedic.
Yeah.
Wants to save lives. So maybe we could, some of the colleges, maybe we can just reach out to see if they could support this young man in his endeavors.
I think the city's already on top of it, and
Cool.
or the police chief himself, I think, is involved. So,
Great.
And so yeah, once we start with the EMT, then it's amazing how things change people's lives. But so good call. And
He
so
wanted to be an EMT before that as well, I think.
I wish everybody a nice summer, and we'll see you
Or
after
something
Labor
that I
Day.
heard, but-
And motions to adjourn. The roll call.
Councilor Bergman?
Yes.
Councilor Calorio?
Yes.
Councilor G.A.? Councilor Merrill Carlson? Councilor Nguyen?
Yes.
Councilor Rivera?
Yes.
Councilor Rose?
Yes.
Councilor Russell?
Someone want to follow that guy out of City Hall? I think there's like a 30% chance he's going to dump those trash bags by my place on his way out of the city back in New Hampshire. They're definitely going to be alongside the reservoir.
Yeah, I would love to know where he puts those.
Yeah. Back in his tenant's, front yard. So there we go. I agree. Props are a good step for sure. I do agree. All right, that was our summer meeting. Not a whole heck of a lot to dig into, but it's going to be an ongoing issue with this. Not only the rental registry, but inspections. They got to do more for sure, but curious to see how a certain block of the city council is going to ankle any reforms, any major ones at the very least.
Well, a part of that too is that's going to be interesting to watch. So I think it was yesterday. There was a headline that there's 170 unfilled vacancies within municipal government right now. They are finding it nearly impossible to find people to work for them. So there's also the reality that we could create an ideal program to be doing inspections in the city and still not have nearly enough bodies to make it so.
Yeah, exactly. So I think we probably should just shut the city down.
Yeah, I mean that's it. Let's just deem it unsafe.
Yeah,
we'll condemn the whole thing.
Close up shop. And then, you know what though? Then the friends are going to go in and start moving stuff around if we do that. That is huge. This is great news. The heat wave will break for a couple days, hopefully. I'm going to die, so I can't stand this anymore.
The heat's breaking. Tomorrow's high is a heck of a lot lower than it has been. Supposed to be on and off thunderstorms the rest of the week.
Oh yeah, that's the stuff I like.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's ultimately the problem too. Is that every department is wildly underpaid.
Yeah,
embarrassingly so.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, not just underpaid, but like they don't even have enough positions to fully do what they need to do in some of the departments.
Oh, sure. Yeah. But I mean, they can't fill
even,
the ones that they have. That's, I mean, like 170 people down. And a lot of those are at Mead Street, right? Like there's been a ton of shifting of bodies for inspectional services over the last couple of years. And they can't hit the bare minimum based on what we currently have.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I have never once been contacted by the city to do a inspection of my property. And the people that I was talking about on either side of me that also have owner occupied, neither of them have been contacted, and both of them have owned their buildings for decades.
Mm-hmm. Crazy.
But the issue with inspection services related to the rental registry, the hiring of 5 more people is not going to be sufficient to handle any of it. That is going to bring us up to the absolute bare minimum for people to literally go, I have walked through the building. They allot 3 hours per building as part of the whole thing. And that's typically for the 3 deckers, 3 hours. So it's about an hour a unit. But I mean, when I had inspection services here checking out our electrical, because we had the entire building rewired, when we were first starting out the process, we had a short. So we had inspection services come out because they know what to look for to make sure, because we smelled smoke and we were not about to have a fire. Something shorted while they were snaking something through a wall. We couldn't figure it out. We got a fix notice for 1 day to replace the entire electrical in the building. And they never followed up on it.
Oh, of course, yeah.
I mean, granted, we were in the process of replacing the electric. They did come back in and do the inspection afterwards when we've replaced all the electric and everything. But it's amazing how overworked those people are. The conversations that I had with them while they were here, it was like they don't have enough time to sufficiently do the inspections, even on ones that are on pulled permits. So
it's crazy. Yeah, I mean, it's crazy. It's everywhere. It's everything, especially when it comes to services, municipal services, where we're feeling the effects of unchecked capitalism at this point, where nothing is funded correctly. No, you can't even hope to get the amount of people that you need if you can pay them, which you can't pay them correctly. And even if you could, there's just not, it's bad times. We're living in bad times, everybody.
Well, we're also in one of those funny, and we've done this before too. I mean, in Worcester, we went through this almost 2 decades ago now, or about a decade and a half is the last time the economy shit the bed, where we go through a period where money is essentially free and accessible at the municipal level, and we squander it on bullshit that nobody actually needs. And then we cry poverty once we actually head into a recession and money is tight. Like the conversation that we're having now is the conversation we should have had 10 years ago when money started being free. But yeah, we didn't. So good luck, guys.
And how much of the things that were actually done were, people's companies getting hooked up with contracts, or, all sorts of things that, again, take money out of the system.
Yeah.
And go put it into, people that already have it. And then, yeah, again, once things tighten up again, we're all holding the bag. Yep. So, I think, it's this last year's election was the beginning of a long process that hopefully continues in the right direction, where we get people that are willing to step out from what's the accepted political line or the accepted city government line, and push for better things. And I think, hopefully that continues. Hopefully we get a couple more people next time around. They'll still be presided over by Mayor Joe Petty at that point.
Hopefully.
Oh, that's a good idea. Well, we can, how about this? We get the Woo Sox and the Bravehearts as two different teams, and we say whoever gets more inspections done can play at Polar Park.
Ooh.
Yeah. Incentivize,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how to do this. But yeah, I don't, it's too hot. It's just too damn hot.
It's too damn hot.
Yeah. Do you guys have anything else?
Tomorrow night is the traffic and parking meeting. And then on Wednesday, the 24th, is the Municipal Legislative Operations Committee meeting. I have not had a chance to look at the agendas for the traffic and parking, and the MLO one isn't up yet. But those are traffic and parking is usually just a lot more of the same. Like, we've got a street that wants a handicap placard. Let's approve it.
Yeah.
There's all sorts of stuff that should not need to be on this council's list.
For sure.
But MLO meetings usually have some pretty good content. So if you're around on Wednesday the 24th, that would be one to check out. And then there's also two big events happening in the city on Friday and Saturday, the Worcester Public Library, and then there's also one that the city's doing downtown on Friday, I think. Friday's the 12th. I don't know. It's the 12th and 13th. I don't know if that's Friday, Saturday, or Sunday, but
no, Friday and Saturday.
But there's some fun stuff that's going to be going down. The public library is doing their block party.
Nice, fantastic. Yeah, Saturday's a big day. We got Thursday night, Woot Nanny. We got a show at WICN at the Jazz NPR station in Worcester. They have a little side studio there that they do live performances in. We got a comedy show we're running there. We're very excited about it. We have a really good lineup. Bethany Van Delft, one of our favorite comedians. We got her to come out to Worcester. So we have tickets available for that. If you follow us on Woot Nanny Comedy on Instagram, you can get the link in the bio. Get tickets for it. We're hoping to make it a regular thing. We're hoping that we can convince them to bring us back and do it more. They're going to record it. So they might want to show it. They might live stream it if we do it again. So we'd like to try and make that happen.
Nice.
Saturday, of course, the Worcester Hot Dog Safari as well. It's a very fun event. We raise a lot of money for Worcester County Food Bank. If you have never been to it before, it's a good time. You start off at Ralph's at 11 a.m. You come down, buy a shirt, pick up your scorecard, and then go eat a bunch of hot dogs. And if you follow Mamaru on Instagram, he just put up the menu that he's going to be running for the safari this weekend, and it's frankly insane. It's absolutely insane. So it's should be a great day. I hope everybody comes down and checks it out. Obviously, the hottest dog competition. Nothing more needs to be said. I think you guys all get what that is. So come check it out. And that night, actually, Ralph's is playing Lost Boys out in the parking lot. Nice. And Tim Capello, the sax player from Lost Boys, is doing a show as well.
Fantastic.
Yeah. So that's going to be Saturday's going to be a crazy day in Worcester. There's a lot of fun stuff to do. The Worcester Bazaar is running that day too, down in the on Grove Street. So lots of great things to do this weekend. Should be a great Worcester weekend. So please enjoy the nice things in Worcester after we spent all night talking about the awful things about Worcester. We Where are my banners? Travis isn't here tonight either, folks. So we have. It's just impossible to keep up with all this shit. BillShaner.substack.com. He is, of course, deathly ill. So please subscribe to his Patreon to make him feel better. I'm not kidding. If you haven't read the piece yet, the newest piece that Yenni had the assist on, it's unbelievable reporting. So pay Bill so he can do more of that. Brendan,
I got nothing.
Yeah,
I'll be around.
Yeah, just go hang out with Brendan.
Yeah.
Just find him.
Give me a call. I'll hang out with you.
He's gonna be racing Mo Bergman on Franklin Street. That'll be good. Download my podcast, Parts Unknown. We've had a little bit of a unplanned hiatus, but we're getting back to it this week. We went to AEW Live at the Centrum a couple weeks ago, or whatever it's called now, and it was very fun. We're going to talk about that. So wherever you get that, seltzertime.com for Travis's show. I shouldn't be promoting it. He's not here, of course. And, get your crafty kombucha, the only ethical consumption under capitalism. Thank you guys all for hanging out with us tonight. We love to do this. I missed everybody. I missed you guys these past 3 weeks. So we'll be back in September. And we hope to see you all then. So have a good night, everybody.
Enjoy the rest of the summer.
We'll see you on a future Tuesday. Bye. Yeah. Bully your landlord. Bye.